Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could take sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever signed. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about
I don't think I've ever said this before.
All right, Rob, what episode are we on?
568.
568. We got back from Utah this morning. We landed at 4:15, got to the house, 5 o'clock, got dressed, came to the office. A couple of us got an hour nap, and now we're doing a podcast together. But we had such a great time at this event yesterday.
Amazing.
With Vivint, there was 4,000 people in the room. The energy was off the charts. It was unbelievable. Anyways, but we're still going to do the PBD podcast, even though we're going on fumes right now, but it's just another day. All right, so let's go through a couple things we got here. Trump's administration ends taxpayer-funded housing programs for illegals. Let me read that to you one more time. Trump's administration ends taxpayer-funded housing programs for illegals, okay? So that means at one point we had that, which is the weirdest part about this. NASA says Trump is responsible for stranded astronaut saga ending. It would not have happened. Tom's got some thoughts on that. Canadians are boycotting American vacations. Tom is devastated by that, but the stats have a little bit more story when he breaks it down for you. It's a WSJ story. Some Europeans reconsider trips to U.S. in protest against Trump's. They don't want to come to vacation here. Some people in Miami may actually be excited about that, right? You got people that are not going to be, they're going to have a little bit more traffic than others, but we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen there. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem reveals plan to eliminate FEMA. Florida considers bill to roll back child labor laws to fill jobs once held by undocumented immigrants. Greenlanders are angry and confused over unwanted U.S. visit. The $20 burrito you order from DoorDash could cost you $70. Wait till you hear this story. It's very interesting. Gen Zs splurging on pricey concert tickets, which may be the reason why they can't afford to buy a house. 9 weird recession indicators from lipstick to snacks. Copper to $12,000 this year, say major trading groups. Then we got a couple other stories here through the roof. CNN data guru breaks down surge in Americans saying U.S. on the right track under Trump. And note, Disney loses top spot in TV viewing to YouTube. And we got a couple other stories here. Stephen A. Smith and LeBron been going back and forth. LeBron decides to go. He rarely does any podcast, but he decides to go on the, the Pat McAfee podcast. And he talks about why him and Jordan don't talk. He talked about a bunch of stuff with Stephen A. Stephen A. comes back and responds and says, if he would have done anything, I would have punched him in the face. And then I think Stephen A. also said he's a liar. He called him a lot of different things. And it was pretty nasty, but we'll talk about that. ICE agents detained Tufts University's grad students after pro-Palestinian opinion piece. Snow White producer, son, says Rachel Zegler, you have to see this Instagram post, by the way. It's fantastic. Says Rachel Zegler hurt the film's box office with her actions in the since-deleted comment. And he says that she hurt everybody else's job. People who were making this movie, they wanted to be able to say that I worked on a movie that did very well. They said she destroyed the chance of that happening. Zelenskyy says Putin will die soon and vows it will come to an end.
Oh, man.
Who the hell says something like that?
Like somebody that doesn't.
Zelenskyy says Putin will die soon?
Yeah, he doesn't value his life.
Is that a threat, or does he know something the rest of the people don't know?
That
I
sounds
don't
like a
know.
threat to me.
Zelenskyy press conference live from the grassy knoll.
Yeah. And then we got a couple other things. A judge, Vinny's got some thoughts on that. And then Andrew Tate, what is the story? Girlfriend, Bree Stern says, Andrew nearly choked her, unconscious. Rob, can we post the content, the notes as well on PBD Podcast Circle, please? Let's make sure to do that. Okay, fantastic. All right, so those are the stories, and we got a couple of videos that we'll show you as well. Having said that, nothing excites me more than when I'm out there and I watch people wearing Future Looks Bright gear. It's getting bigger, and it's getting now to a lot of different places, which is fantastic. And ladies, you've been asking for it. You've been talking to VT Merch, and the team's been listening to you. Spring collection is here. Now we have some of this active wear hats for those of you that work out, that you want something lighter. You're runners, but you still want to represent the vitamin gear. We have it in many different colors, yellow, You got them in pink. You got them in baby blue. You got them in the Tiffany blue color. You got them in all these other things that are here. And for some of you, what did you call this, Rob? There was a name for this? Rob, Tom, what do you know?
Active wear.
Active wear. But this hat here, for some that like this style, this is out as well. Some of you guys ask for it. And then the shirts. I'm telling you, the material of these shirts, when you put them on, is unreal. Unreal, the material, when you feel it and then you put it on. This is a new one that came in. Future looks bright with the logo on the front. We got the sweater that's here as well.
These are my
navy
favorite.
blue. Future looks bright. Okay.
The material's ridiculous.
Oh, my God. Honestly, the material to
Yeah, well,
me
look at
is
that.
unbelievable.
Did you see these?
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Good.
God.
I tried to get one of these, but he said they don't have my size yet.
Oh, my
You'll get us medium one of these days.
No, I get large,
Holy
homie.
moly,
I get
look at
large,
this one
homie.
here.
You're not large.
Rob, is this on the web? Can you see if this is on the website?
It
the
is.
gold? Can you
Yeah.
go to the gold one?
Right there.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Look at
It's
this.
And it's
sick.
not just screen printed. Those
By
are
the way,
like
hear this?
thick letters.
Yeah,
See this?
it pops off the shirt.
Pops, yeah, it's
Just
great.
pop.
And then on the back, you got the vitamin gear. Go to vtmerch.com. Place your order. We want 1 million of us wearing this everywhere we go. Vinny went the other day. He was looking at a couple cars. He's debating between getting a Cybertruck and a couple other cars. And while we're having a conversation, he says one the guy rolls up in a like you can tell beat up purple and gold Valuetainment hat.
Brandon.
But we love seeing that. Anyways, all right, guys, let's get right into it. First story to get into. Out of everything that we got going on here, let's see which one we go into first. Oh, my goodness. Which one? Let's go into this one here. 9 weird recession indicators from lipstick to snacks. There's a lot of talks right now about recession. A lot. A lot of people want it to happen. Some people think it may happen due to some of the policies that we're having, but we kind of need to go through it. But let's take a look at this. So 9 weird recession indicators from lipstick to snacks, according to Business Insider. Number 1, snack index. People buy fewer snacks during recessions, with evidence from 2008 Great Recession showing reduced consumption of snacks, fast food, and fresh produce. General Mills, maker of Chex Mix and Nature Valley's granola bars, reported a 5% drop in net sales in Q3 of 2025. We're not even in Q3. Is it orders? I don't know why it says Q3 here. Number 2, mini alcohol bottle indicator. Shoppers switch to mini bottles of alcohol during economic uncertainty instead of full-size ones. And CEO of Lawson Whiting says the reason small sizes are doing well is more because of the cyclical inflation and its consumer that's pinched. Okay, so if you're ordering those mini alcohol bottles, that's an indicator. 3, lipstick index, coined by Leonard Lauder, billionaire heir to Estee Lauder in 2001, when lipstick sales rose during a recession. Lauder's theory: lipstick sales and the health of the economy were in inverse proportion to one another. Sales rose in 2001 by 11%, boomed in 2008 during Great Recession, and great recently despite high inflation. Interesting. Lipstick. Underwear index. What is this one? Popularized by former Fed agent Alan Greenspan, suggests that men delay buying new underwear during downturns.
Yeah, this is the chairman of the Fed talking about interest rates and underwear sales.
My dad, since 21 years old, for my birthday and my Christmas, only gets me Costco underwear. I don't understand.
Do you wear
I
them?
have enough underwear right now that I've not opened to start a side business, just so you know that. So if anybody's struggling, guys,
Slap a
my
VT
dad's got
logo on it,
cases
let's
of
go.
them in our house. I don't know. He's worried about underwear.
Yeah.
But I love you, Dad. I know you've been doing that for a while. So sales dipped in 2008. Same thing with underwear. Hemline index. It claims that skirts shorten in good economic and lengthen in bad ones. That is so weird. From the 1920s. So in good economy, ladies wear shorter skirt. In bad economy, they wear longer skirts. How the hell does that make any sense? Next one. Cardboard box indicator. In early 2009, during the recession, shipments declined drastically and manufacturers operated rates fell.
This one's real.
Yeah, diaper rash indicator. Diaper rash. Parents ration diapers costing $500 to $900 a year during rough times, increasing diaper rash and ointment sales. And in 2011, diaper sales fell. Ointment sales rose 8%, according to Wall Street Journal. Champagne index. U.S. sales fell from 23 million bottles pre-2008 to 12.5 million bottles in 2000. That's a 50% drop-off, according to UC Berkeley. And then to 18% it dropped in 2020 before hitting a $5.7 billion in 2021 and socializing resumed. So, and the last but not least, stripper index. Exotic dancers notice recessions early, says Alia Kissick, CEO of Financial Literacy. Economist Peter added a decrease in restaurant tipping suggests that consumers are reducing discretionary spending. Okay, Adam, your thoughts on the story?
Well, these are all just indicators, right? So just like the S&P 500 is an index, is an indicator of what's going on in the economy. By the way, since January, Tom, help me out here. How has the market performed since Trump has taken office?
Bless you, Rob.
Well, it's down in the last trailing 30, trailing 60 as market sentiment is reacting negatively to the tariffs and what that could do to future earnings. And so there's a lot of concern about that. But also the S&P, I think, just had a 4-day rally in the midst of all this. I think just last 4 days in a row, I believe.
Right. So I feel like just recently the market is now broken even, like it was negative for the year recently. But we've all discussed what's going on with the tariffs. We feel like it's a necessary evil to help the economy.
Food
it's almost
poisoning.
like
The economy's got to get through some food
It's
poisoning.
almost like if you have cancer and you have to take a cancer drug or have to deal with going through the ill effects of that. That's exactly what's going on with the economy right now. But here are 3 things that I want to point out of these 9 indicators. Number 1, instead of buying regular bottles of alcohol, they're buying mini bottles of alcohol because you still got to get drunk, right, Vin? I mean, you understand, like people when they're alcoholics and they're at the party.
Yeah.
I know you're alcohol free these days, so.
Yeah, May 31st is 2 years.
And we're very proud of you.
Thank
if you were still drinking.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than getting a quart or
I
a
get
liter.
little nippers.
You get little things, you take them in your pocket.
Oh, all day.
Okay. Number 2, the diaper
By the way, let
rash
me ask you
index.
guys.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever bought small alcohol?
Yes.
Have you?
No.
Yes.
Really?
Oh,
Honestly, I can say
Because tequila Jose Cuervo was so cheap, the small bottles. Why would I go buy the small ones? Even when I was in the Army and I was broke.
Well,
You guys really bought the small ones?
if I was driving.
Oh, okay.
really?
Hey, if I was going somewhere, like if I was driving to a
Oh, if I
comedy
was
club,
driving.
I would
There
do
you
it.
go.
And then, Doug, I was an alcoholic. There ain't no shame in my game. I would, right before I went in.
But would
boom,
you drink and drive or would you pull over and take sips?
I did a lot of things, Adam. I did a lot of crazy
Okay,
stuff.
so what else? Let's see what else.
But here's
we got.
another little hot tip for anybody out there. You might have noticed, drinks in clubs are like 100 times more expensive.
Yeah.
So, you bring a couple mini bottles in the club. Next thing you know, or you have a girl with a purse.
How much are
And she
drinks
brings
at the
it-
club right now?
Oh,
In Miami,
yeah.
$20 a pop.
that's
For what,
insane.
though?
I mean, just standard cocktail.
Yeah. The
20 bucks a
What-
pop.
what's a
for
standard
ghetto
cocktail?
liquor.
Like
I mean-
a single martini off and just shelf vodka, not a upscale.
If you want a cocktail, it's going to cost you $20. Maybe it's 16 and they add tax and tip. Bing, bing, bing. You're at 20. Sometimes it's here you go, right here.
Bro,
So shout out to Live Miami.
Blue.
And that's
Yeah.
why we would drink in the car. Like that's why we would get, I'm dead serious, we would get the little bottles, and before we walked into the club, we would drink fast, go and have fun, and have one drink in the night.
Or you have a girl with a purse. She brings a couple bottles in the club. She does your dirty work for you.
Okay.
But
Tom.
here's another thing. The 3 things. Number 2, the diaper rash index. I mean, how tough are times if you're not going to basically get enough diapers and diaper rash? What ointments, Vaseline? What do you use for kids these days? I don't know. I don't have kids, but your kids are
Vaseline.
going to suffer. There you go.
Yeah.
But then here's the big one, Pat, and I'm sure it's going to create a little storm here. But you know who notices recessions before anybody? Forget Jim Cramer. Forget Warren Buffett. It's candy to the stage, because strippers notice recessions before anybody because they are the sole beneficiary of consumer discretionary spending. They're used to making it rain, $100 bills at a time. Next thing you know, they're getting quarters. Here we go. Recession happening right now. So the leading into across the U.S. and the U.K., strip clubs have slowed down significantly. I mean, the last thing we need for a market is to go flat. Same thing for the ladies out there. But here's a little quote from Nikki Adams, who runs the campaign group English Collective of Prostitutes. She says the cost of living crisis is having terrible effect on sex workers. We recorded a 30% jump in the last year in the number of callers seeking support. Women are calling us upset and scared. Women are frantically asking if we can provide food vouchers for food banks. So they're having housing problems. I guess this is going on all around the globe right now, but it is a leading indicator of a recession.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
Rob, the poll you ran of do you see the United States going into recession in 2025? Okay, watch how it came out. It's actually very interesting how everybody voted. 2,400 people have voted so far. 2,500 people have voted so far. And the vote results are 53 no, 47 yes.
Right, kind of.
But 47 believe it could happen this year.
So it's 50-50.
It's 50-50. Tom, your thoughts on this?
So some of these indicators are interesting headlines, and it's something the business media can put out. And this was from Business Insider. But there are several of these indicators that are very real, and people that track the economy watch them. I watch the cardboard box indicator because that is a clear indication of shipping, and you can see more or less happening. Also, it's very interesting is when inflation and when times are tough, the snacks are down. People aren't buying the bag. I don't mean Halloween. They're not buying the bag of like Snickers minis and those little treats and stuff. Those stay out of the grocery cart because, things are a little tough. And I have never in my life, and I think everybody on this podcast, what people know is that we're not partying and none of us have full liquor closets at home. I don't ever remember buying little bottles to take them home. That may be a whole different slice of life, but I don't ever remember that. You see them on airplanes on the cart when people do it, but I don't know about that one. But the snack index and the cardboard index, I would see that. What's a little alarming to me is I really was bummed out to see, I hadn't heard about this before, the diaper rash indicator, that parents would actually leave the diaper on their kid a little bit longer because now if you've walked down the diaper aisle, it's expensive. Diapers are not cheap. They're very expensive. And so, and by the way, if you know people that have kids, one of the greatest gifts you can give them is those newborn diapers. Go to Costco, get a couple of those big giant shrink wrap things. Yeah. Because they're expensive. But I didn't know about that one. But I also had heard about the champagne index, that the high-end wines and champagne, that is another very, very clear index. I find the underwear index and Alan Greenspan funny. Alan Greenspan would talk about interest rates. What concerns you about the economy? Well, the underwear index has really got me bothered. I just can't see Alan Greenspan talking about that.
You want to know why I love you and appreciate you? Because your two leading indicators were the cardboard box indicator and the mini snacks. Yep. And I'm looking at the mini alcohol bottles and the stripper index. But we meet in the middle at the diaper rash indicator. So that's amazing.
Exactly.
So, PBD, which of these 9 do you focus on?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, the reality of it is, yesterday we're at the event. And it's the last 15 minutes. And everybody starts asking different questions. This one kid asks a question. So, Patrick, let me ask you. If you were me, what would you invest in right now? Would it be gold? Would it be commodities? Would it be futures? Would it be stocks? Would it be this? Would it be Ethereum? Would it be... He's asking me all these questions. And I'm like, how old are you? Guy's like 18, 19 years old. I said, how much money did you make last year? How long does he take to answer?
He goes like this.
There's 4,000 people in the room, by the way.
Adam, no joke. He goes, 10. That's like 10 what?
He says, I made $10,000 last year.
Living at home.
And I'm not making fun.
I know what.
19 years old.
Yeah. So I said, you're making $10,000 and you're asking me where to put your money with futures and, crypto and all this stuff. I said, brother, what you need to fix is you have an income problem. You don't have an investment problem. You have an income problem. Let's go fix that income problem that you have. And look, I get it. I was in the Army. I got out of the Army as an Army E4 specialist. I was making $20,000 a year. It's not a lot of money when you're making, you're trying to find a way to increase your income. For people that are watching this is what's going on right now. You have to ask yourself if in what way this is impacting your income, what you're doing to protect yourself from this. Some people are kind of going through it and then they're feeling it, and there's seasons to it that you're going through. So I've always been from the school of thought of having cash. I think the biggest reaction from last night's event was when I told the story about having cash in place for opportunities. There's nothing more evergreen than always making sure you have an emergency fund, always making sure you have money in place, always making sure you live below your means. It's such an evergreen, boring concept to talk about, but it applies to everyone. The more you can do that, like I remember when I was running the insurance company, and let's just say we only had $100,000 in the bank, just the first year. We got all the way down to $13,000. The way I would look at $100,000 is I have 100 $1,000 decisions to make. I have only 10 $10,000 decisions to make. I have only 4 $25,000 decisions to make. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of scary, right? So if you got 10 grand in a bank and you're trying to do your thing with your husband, your wife, your kids, your family, like, dude, I only have 10 $1,000 decisions to make. I only have 50 $200 decisions. That's not a lot. So you got to make sure you do whatever you can to increase your savings. And if it means living below your means and talking to the family about that trip that you were going to spend $4,000 that you shouldn't, don't. Save that money right now while you're going through it. Okay, let me get to the next story here. That $20 burrito you ordered from DoorDash could now cost you $70. A new DoorDash and Klarna partnership. Rob, do you have a video on this?
I do.
Watch this one here, folks. This is a little bit, again, there's a reason why companies like Klarna exist, and they're fantastic for the right people. But now doing it for DoorDash when it comes down to ordering burrito, watch this here.
Firm Klarna. This one is landing and partnering up with DoorDash. In the coming months, customers will be able to use Klarna services to purchase groceries, retail, and a Dash Pass annual plan. And customers will have the option to pay for their purchases in full in 4 equal installments or defer payments to a more convenient time. Here, shares right now of DoorDash up by 1.5%.
Yeah, and I'm not proud to admit this, but I am a Dash Pass member.
Really?
Yes, I am.
How long? Member since?
You can stop it
2
right there.
years.
So we get it. So, but here's the thing. It went from the BNPL model. We've talked about this many, many times. In 2019, the buy now, pay later model did $2 billion in loans. That's in 2019.
Okay.
It went from $2 billion in 2019 to 3 years later, ready, to $34 billion in loans. From $2 billion to $34 billion. Rob, what is the total BNPL right now in 2025? Can you see it? BNPL loans in 2025. Does it tell you? Let's see if it comes up.
I got one source on 2024, 132.
Wow.
Wait a minute. That's insane.
Market experience.
According to a report by FinTech Futures, the global, but what is it in the U.S.? Global is $560 billion. And then United States, the BNPL payments only go to
So there's 122.
$122 billion. So
yep, and I got 132, so we're in that zone.
Is $2 billion. 2022, $34 billion. Today, $122 billion. Tom, your thoughts on the story?
First of all, I think there's a horror going on with that generation. And that is, if you don't have $20 in your checking account, in your bank, so you could use your ATM card connected to Apple Pay or whatever you connect your DoorDash thing, there's a problem there. There is a serious problem.
You have an income problem.
That you would actually say, Klarna. Now, here's what DoorDash wants.
Yeah.
They want the same thing any other retailer wants, whether you're selling, it doesn't matter what you're selling. They want more ability to pay so they can maximize customer opportunities
For sure.
to buy from them.
Yes.
That's normal. So DoorDash is like, well, we do it this way, this way, this way, this way. Klarna, okay, come on in. All right, what's the deal? And we make a deal with Klarna. The shocking part of it is the reason they're thinking about making that deal is because what they're looking at it. And this is really, and the $20, $70 is not wrong, because if you miss a payment on BNPL, the fees are heavy. These interest rates are 35% and more. And so you don't have a little bit in your checking account and you use BNPL to buy dinner?
So the calculation, Tom, on this DoorDash burrito, this guy says, Robert Lawless, University of Illinois law professor, specializing in consumer finance, says, I just don't think it's an advisable way to be paying for for your DoorDash. Your $20 burrito could soar to $70 with fees, tips, and potential late charges announced last week. That is insane.
Yeah, so late charges are big. And so 2 months, you're late on your bill and everything. All of a sudden, you look back at what you paid. It's like, woof. It's like when people run out on Black Friday. How many times have we talked about it? Actually, Adam talks about it on when he talks about saving that money. If you go out on Black Friday and buy that TV on sale with a 27% credit card and then take 6 months to pay for the TV is no longer on sale.
Yeah.
You just paid all that interest.
Yeah.
Adam, thoughts?
Well, I don't know if it's the buy now, pay later thing or if it's just putting on a credit card, is just understanding that whatever you're spending, that you're putting on I'll pay it off later is going to cost you significantly more than just paying for it in cash. It's a $20 burrito. Can we just talk about the fact that burritos are now $20? Okay, that's what they call it, shrinkflation that Joe Biden talked about. This is the exact
burrito.
opposite of that.
$20 a burrito.
It's a big deal.
That's 3 burritos.
There you go. But this is what I would call death by 1,000 bites. Everyone out there, while they're doing their budget, here's an example of a budget. Everyone has your big 3 expenses that I talk about all the time, especially on Minect, to a lot of my Minectors out there. Your biggest 3 expenses are your housing, which should take at most 30% of your income. Number 2, your transportation, which should be as much as you can below 20% of your total gross income. But then the third one is your F&B, your food and beverage, which you should try to keep between 10 to 15% of your budget. So what happens to your budget when a $20 burrito, after you put it on DoorDash or buy now, pay later, you pay the interest, you're paying the minimum on your credit card. Next thing you know, your $20 burrito just costs you $70. But then that's over and over and over again. Because what I've noticed is when people do this, they don't do it once in a while. They do it for every meal. They're DoorDashing, they're Uber Eatsing, they're putting on a credit card. And now the average credit card in America, the average American, I think, owes $7,000 on a credit card. How much of that is a burrito? How much of that is drinks at the bar? How much of that is just going out and having a good time, and you don't realize that the $100 you spent is actually going to cost you $500 in the end? So do better with your money because it's going to cost you in the end.
What is this,
Save
Rob?
that
So
money.
the total credit card debt in 2020, end of 2024 was $1.2 trillion. I remember that. The average credit card household, $11K. The average credit card balance per person, $67.30 by the end of it. By the way, this makes me think about the one story that, with all the damages that they're doing to Tesla vehicles.
Yeah, of
course.
All the stuff
Vandalization,
all the
burning.
you know what it's doing though. There was even a clip, Rob. Did you see this? Fox News reached out about this one guy who, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, absolutely disrespectful what this guy
Probably
did.
one of the worst vandalization.
Did you see this? Do you know which one I'm talking about, Rob, or no?
I don't.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
so
guy
I
near the
hang on.
airport?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The guy near the airport?
So this,
that guy
you
can't trust
is
these people
by the
out there.
airport, and he's at the airport. He sees this Tesla.
Yep.
He gets out of the Tesla. Can you
This is
make it bigger, Rob?
Yeah, this
to
is
kind
the
of
most disrespectful.
And he thought he wasn't going to get caught.
watch this. Watch
thought
this.
he
folks,
wasn't gonna
what he
get
does
caught.
to
Look
this
at this
Tesla.
idiot.
I don't think I can watch this, dude. Like, what an idiot,
Idiot.
liberal. Look,
So what is he doing? He's keying the car.
He's keying the car. He's writing F
And look
Elon.
at the
Look at the car,
irresponsible
drive-
car in the
His-
back.
his-
It's going.
he doesn't put it
Is
in
he-
park like an
is he-
idiot.
what is he doing right
I don't
there,
like it. And then,
No,
and
don't
then
do that.
look-
Stop, Rob. Stop it.
Rob,
Rob, stop.
Why is he doing that? And then
Rob,
look,
stop it right
and
there,
then look,
Rob.
he
Stop it
realizes
right there,
that he
Rob.
realizes that.
Oh
it's,
my God.
This
what
is,
a loser! Anybody that's damaging.
Great physique, though.
Oh no, he definitely does squats. He works out.
But I want you to think about this. As crazy as this is, and by the way, this is a regular. Let me tell you, while this is happening, we're having business meetings, and somebody's watching out the window saying, "What the hell happens on this campus?" Right? I got a guy the other day comes. It's a very serious conversation about a whistleblower. Vinny's walking around random in a dress and a spandex. I don't know what it was you wore, that polyester shirt.
Yeah, I was doing the Trump sketch.
Here's the one thing, Rob, that you were talking about. What you have a Tesla yourself,
I
right?
do.
Okay. What have you noticed with the cost of insurance for Tesla lately?
So my 6-month premium came up this week, and I had to re-sign with my auto insurer. And my auto insurance went without any accidents, without any tickets, without adding any new vehicles. We went from $350 a month for 4 different vehicles. Yeah, I have 2 Jeeps, a camper van. Those are all 70, and 90. So in total, I'm paying $230 for those vehicles, and then on top of that, I was paying an additional $120 for my Tesla each month. All of a sudden, I got the new 6-month premium. It went from $350 a month to $460 a month for all 4 vehicles. The only thing I can think of is that my Tesla is costing more because the other vehicles haven't. It's a 2012 Jeep, a 2008 Jeep, and a 1997 Dodge camper van. It's not like State Farm is trying to milk me on the cost for those. So the only vehicle that we have that could see that price increase was the Tesla.
Yeah, that's interesting. And what does the story say here? Tesla insurance costs could surge. Can you go a little bit lower to see what it's saying? So Musk rejected criticism on X, formerly that he owns, posted controversy, leftist. Okay, so he's suing somebody that keeps calling him that, the Bowman guy, right? Who is he's
Jamal Bowman.
He's claiming
I hope he
saying,
does.
threatening that he may soon. But can you go down to see if there's any data here? So how much does it cost to insure? Okay, so with a price tag of $35,000 for its cheapest car on the market, insurance to cover them already expensive more than other cars, go a little bit lower. So the average cost of full coverage for for a car insurance for a Tesla Model 3 is $3,495 a year. That seems like a lot. That's $280 a month. Okay, according to Bankrate, that is about $800 more per year than the national average of $2,678 for a Toyota Camry, according to Bankrate. However, Model X and Play drivers pay much higher rates. Comparatively, average BMW i4 insurance costs are closer to Model 3 $3,792. In general, EVs are now 23% more expensive to insure than comparable to a gas model. Why would that be the case, though? With an average annual full coverage of $33 for 23% more time. Tesla Model 3, Model Y, Model X are more expensive EVs to insure in February 2020. Confirmed the cost of full insurance for Tesla Model 3, according to Insurify, increased 30% last year to $4,362. This is a 25% higher in cost than the comparable Mercedes-Benz A-Class, the average cost of a full coverage. So to me, Rob, can you type in Tesla cost of insurance and go to news? Just type in Tesla on Google, Tesla cost of insurance and news. And can you go to news and zoom in a little bit? Okay, so 3 weeks ago, our team is at Tesla 3.5 unlimited of poor industry reputation. Okay, Tesla insurance has been pricey. Will vandalism make it higher? That's a what? That's a CNN story. Can you click on that 3 days ago? Can we just see what stats they're giving in there? Zoom in to see if you see any numbers. $1,300. And a damaged Tesla could cost $1,300 more to repair than a gasoline-powered car, according to Insurify. Why, though? Because we read those numbers. Full-size Model X SUV is $5,459. So we got it. Go a little bit out of the 50 most popular cars in the United States. The top 4 most expensive to insure. What? Did you know that? Tom, did you know that or no?
I did not know. I'm just reading this here. This says before all this started, the top 4 most expensive cars to insure were Teslas.
Out of the 50 most popular cars in the U.S., the top 4 most popular to insure are Teslas. So premiums could go up if there are more claims for vandalism. However, it takes a lot more than vandalism incidents to get to the point of higher insurance. Denied right now. The incidents are sporadic and anecdotal with documented vandalism on Pacific Coast, Northeast, but drivers on car insurance comp. Okay, go back to the news, Rob. Let's see what else we got. KRXI, Tesla vandalism incident raised questions about insurance rates. That's how long ago? 12 hours ago. Let's go on that to see if they have any kind of studies or rates that they're showing. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, because we're getting a $500 every 6 months premium, and we're paying out of $20,000 on one of our every 2 cars. We could go a little bit lower. To see. Just look for nothing here. Let's go to the next story. So economic finance a day ago. Do you own a Tesla? Your insurance rate could spike as vandals target cars across the U.S. Go a little lower. Some of the Tesla owners. Go a little lower. Okay. What's that premium? Okay.
Here we go.
So vehicles to insure with the Model 3 seen at 30. Okay, same thing as we read in the other one. Okay, so can you do me a favor? Can you type in on ChatGPT, see if this will come up, how many reported Tesla, vandalism stats have we seen? Is there a number, like police report in a certain sector? Like, you remember they were stealing that one car in certain counties of L.A., and so the insurance specifically for that car went up only in that one county? Do you guys remember the car? The guy made a video on the Venezuelan guy. He made video on how to steal those cars.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was Hyundai and Kia,
or something like that.
And
Yeah.
Sonata and Soul and Forte were criticized by the American Insurance Institute because of the ease in which they can be broken in and stolen.
That's what it was. And this guy made a video on TikTok on how to steal those cars. So Austin, Texas, 1. Nevada, Las Vegas. Multiple Tesla vehicles were set on fire. There was no Tesla showroom. Salem, between January and February, local Tesla stores, multiple attacks. Molotov cocktails. Boston, Massachusetts, 7 Tesla charging stations were set on fire. Seattle, Washington, 4 Tesla Cybertrucks were at blaze. A 33-year-old man arrested deliberately crashing. Okay, So it's not yet a massive number to make a difference, but it is definitely something to be thinking about. Tom, your thoughts on the story?
Well, the Hyundai and Kia, the Insurance Institute was saying, hey, these things are so easy to steal that what we're about to do is innocent middle-class Americans that are buying those because they think it's an economical car on gas and it's small and all that, they're about to find out that they're going to be more to insure. So what they were saying is the long-term condition was about to lead to the increase in insurance. And we saw the guy, as you pointed out on YouTube, saying these are easy to steal, and the Hyundai and Kia better do something about it. Boom. Now, this is a short-term condition. And so the question is, and by the way, here we go again. You know, if every one of the headlines that you see about Tesla or about Trump, the economy, look for the could and should, because everybody's in this could and should game. So if there's a long-term condition here, I think they would raise the rates, but they got to get control of this. Pam Bondi is saying, oh, you want to do this? I will label you a domestic terrorist. You don't want that. You don't want to light a car on fire and get labeled as a domestic
Has anybody yet gotten arrested, like, and suffered real severe consequences?
Well, I remember one.
I think there's been one guy that the answer is yes so far. And I haven't seen any legislation come down, but Pam Bondi has said several times, has she not, Rob, over the last 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
you will be charged with domestic terrorism. You don't want that because that's a federal felony.
Well, it is terrorism because they're doing it for a political motive. That's what it is. It's all against Trump. And this pisses me off beyond belief because, and even Elon Musk has accused, you guys know who he's accusing. Guys, this is obviously the left. Our side doesn't do stupid shit like this. Okay, sorry for my language. We don't do this. Okay, he's blamed George Soros and he's pointing at Reid Hoffman, saying that they're funding these protests. Okay, and then you have people on late night, all these late night hosts, Tim Walz, Jasmine Crockett. They're all dog whistling. They're all saying it without saying it, and then when they get caught, Tim Walz is like, no, I'm just joking. Republicans don't have a sense of humor. No. You know exactly what the hell they're doing. You know what you're doing. And then yesterday in the car when I asked you, what are the Republicans going to do? I want to know what, I'm not saying be violent at all. I'm not saying that at all. But are you guys just sitting on your hands? And I wouldn't say go do anything violent, but it's not like, Republicans are going out and damaging things that the left likes, like sex shops and, tampon dispensers and bathrooms. We're not, you know what I mean? We're not doing that.
To Pat's point, I want to see Pam Bondi put her signature on a piece of paper, and I want to see two of these people, because we've caught some of them, get arrested and charged with federal felony for the arson as domestic terrorists. Guess what? When you increase the penalty round, things change.
By the way, this is what AOC yesterday was approached by a Fox News reporter asking about vandalism on Teslas, and this was her response. Go for it, Rob.
So upset when they see a Tesla in the parking lot. I can't comment to that, in terms of public sentiment. So. But do you think Democrats are to blame for why people are so triggered by this? Because when you're at rallies saying, not you particularly, but your colleagues saying F Elon Musk and using other words, profane words to describe him, does that rile people up, your supporters, to take action on their own?
I don't know. I think about Republicans calling me a communist and Republicans saying that I hate this country.
Yeah, are they firebombing your house? Are they throwing Molotov cocktails at your house?
Look how uncomfortable she was with that. Look at her blink rate. Look at her mannerisms. She was nervous and uncomfortable. She didn't want to answer that question.
As a United States Congresswoman, you take that moment and say, listen, I condemn any type of violence that is happening against us in the stupid. But you know what? When you're out there calling the guy Hitler, when you're calling people Hitler, guys, and this drives me crazy. And there has to be somebody to stop it. It's going to be Pam.
And we're not attacking Tesla. We're
about Elon making threats that he's going to be suing Bowman if they keep continuing talking like this. Adam, thoughts?
So are we talking about Tesla specifically? What's going on
Tesla insurance, yes.
Okay. So, you know the phrase, don't cut off your nose to spite your face. Did you hear Tim Walz the other day get up on stage and basically root for Tesla stock to go down and Tesla's demise? Yep. And then I think it was Kevin O'Leary who pointed out, hey, guy, you're the governor of Minnesota. Do you know that you guys have Tesla in your retirement fund portfolio? Millions of Minnesotans are relying on the stock market to go up, Tesla being a decent part of your portfolio. So what are you saying? Are you rooting for all your retirees, for all your constituents, for their portfolio to go down? Walk me through the logic here. So also, how many jobs does Elon Musk and Tesla create? Hundreds of thousands within America.
Yeah.
Are you rooting for people to lose their jobs? Because what happens when a company starts losing money? They're going to start making cuts, and people are going to start losing jobs. So all because of blind hatred for this one guy, Elon Musk, who was the darling of the green energy left not too long ago, just because he literally backed up Trump and helped him win the election. Now you think that it's okay to not only root for his stock to go down, root for the company to go down, root for retirement funds to go down, root for people to lose their jobs, and then also totally be okay with vandalism? This is ridiculous.
And that's why
Which isn't against Musk, it's against citizens' private property.
Exactly.
And just real quick, and that's why on Tuesday when you were talking about Vinny, the enemy, that's the enemy, Adam. The people that are destroying, bro, people's lives. You're a family, you're a Democrat, you have a family and you have a Cybertruck, and then you have these psychos throwing Molotov cocktails and Chipotle. And I've been seeing them pull up the cars with families in them, verbally attacking, dude, getting out of the vehicle to try to, that you're the enemy, period.
Well, I think what you're saying is those particular people.
Yeah, but it's the left. It's the left, Adam. Come on, man.
The problem is 80 million people aren't your enemy. That's a whole nother discussion.
I didn't say all of them are, but guess what? If your party is doing this, if your party is saying this guy is Hitler, and this party is saying, hey, look at the stock is dropping, and then the late night hosts that are all paid for, they're all in the same freaking group. They go, hey, don't, what was it, Kimmel, Robbie? They're like, hey, don't vandalize Tesla. That's a dog
Wink,
whistle.
wink.
And you're a freaking enemy. Period.
Pull that
Adam.
clip up, Rob. Pull that clip up. I actually want to see that don't. The don't.
Yeah.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Let's see that.
Other than the stock market for a change. Our co-president, Elon Musk, sent a SpaceX vehicle to bring the astronauts back, and when they landed, he fired them immediately upon landing. Tesla stock is way down, almost disastrously so. People...
Look at this. Look at that. Yeah.
People have been...
Idiots.
Vandalizing Tesla vehicles, new Tesla vehicles. Please don't vandalize. Don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles. And so,
okay.
What did he do?
He didn't wink.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
What does that mean to you? What is that?
No. But wait a minute. Is that legal to say that?
I don't know. That's because that's innuendo.
To say what?
He's saying,
you say
don't.
that?
He's saying, don't do it. Pausing. That pause. You know what that says?
Do it
do
one more
it.
time, Rob.
There are laws in America about inciting civil disobedience, inciting riots. Now, could you draw the line so clearly there that you could
go back to it again, Rob?
Come
one more
after
time?
him? I don't know.
Tesla vehicles, new Tesla vehicles. Please don't vandalize. Don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles. And so, funny, and
it was a pause to.
Yeah, that pause does.
Okay.
Go for
No
it.
problem with that, Rob. Go to what's the other one that you have? There was
Jamal Bowman, and I have Tim Waltz as well.
Go to the Jamal Bowman one if you could.
Sure.
That's not true. And this shows, again, the American people do not trust Elon Musk. And Elon Musk is incompetent in his position. And how do we know? Because they fired tens of thousands of people. It was challenged in court. The court said the people have to go back, and now the people are coming back. He's incompetent. He's a thief. He's a Nazi, and people don't trust him.
Boom.
Period.
let me just...
Isn't this the guy that literally just got fired in New York because he's quote unquote incompetent and didn't do his job, aka didn't get reelected? I find it so amazing how people who have done next to nothing in their life are criticizing someone who has done so much for society and for workers and for Americans and the world.
Yeah.
Yet you feel like you can condemn someone because you have a different political opinion. It's very enraging.
And why, Adam? Because he supports a guy that loves this country, and these scumbags hate the country. And this is Jamal Bowman, the Democrat congressman that you said from New York, that pulled a fire alarm in the Cannon House office building in September 2003 and was fined for money. And he was like, I never did it. You guys are saying, I don't like that guy at all.
Yeah, Rob. So to me, that you can't do that. You can't get up there and get people to rally against somebody to hurt a business or an individual. That can't be legal to do, let alone the late night show host that's got the main late night show. It's I don't know. I think I'm going to go to the next story. I think the administration's got to do something about this here when you're looking at these types of things being said. Let me get to the next story. NASA says Trump is responsible for stranded astronaut saga ending. It would have not happened. Okay, it would have not happened. And guess who came and bailed these guys out? Now, this is NASA saying it. NASA credits Trump for the return of the astronauts, Sunita Williams and Barry Wilmore, who were stranded on the International Space Station for over 9 months instead of their planned 8 days. They're going out there planning on being there for 8 days. They're there for 9 months due to issues with Boeing Starliner, with the spokeswoman, Bethany, telling Fox News it would not have happened without President Trump's intervention, and acting administrator Janet Petro adding, per President Trump's direction. Is this it, Rob, the clip?
Yes.
Go for it. Play the clip.
To have Butch, Suni, and Nick all home after an extended stay in space. And you are absolutely right. This was a huge win for the Trump administration and would not have happened without President Trump's intervention. Up next.
Tom, thoughts?
So let's unpack this. I'm going to unpack this really, really fast. NASA works with its counterpart in Russia to maintain their International Space Station. People come up there and do experiments for a long time, then they come back. Boeing was contracted by NASA to use their Starliner to take astronauts up, do some experiments, and bring them back. The Starliner was showing so many defects and faults that they couldn't certify it. And what they didn't want to have happen is these two astronauts get in it and then have it come back. And remember, we had a space shuttle that broke up over Texas because of a flaw, and then when it tried to re-enter, it was terrible, and we lost all those astronauts. So Boeing said, I want to bring this Starliner back empty, and we'll test it. It came back. Fortunately, it didn't burn up, so they could have brought them back. But Boeing kind of did the right thing, saying, we're not sure, and we don't want to put human astronauts at risk. Let's bring it back. At that moment, now they're stuck, and they were asking NASA, what do we do about it? And Boeing was saying, well, we got to do a bunch of research, and we got to fix Starliner before we could go up and get them. And that is when, during the Biden administration, Elon said, well, we're going to be up in the area putting up satellites and stuff. Maybe we'll just swing by and give your guys a ride home. I'm not joking there. That literally was the message. Is like, hey, we got missions all the time. We can do this and bring them back. And they said, no, there's plenty of resources, translation, food, water, and, carbon dioxide filters and conversion to oxygen, all those things that are on the space station. Everything's okay. They've got enough. Months go by. But what was going on right there? The Biden administration did not want to give Elon Musk the win. And so the Biden administration just said, well, if there's enough resources, and their excuse was, oh, there's plenty of resources up there, they can stay up there. However, we now know that long term in zero gravity, your body deteriorates, your muscles atrophy. And so, after so many months, we've been regularly, us, Russians and Chinese, others that are on the International Space Station, bring the people back. And they didn't. And the Biden administration did not want to give Elon Musk the win. And so one of the first things that happens after the inauguration is they're like, start planning now to bring our American astronauts that all the scientists and health experts on astronauts in space have said, you need to bring them back down into gravity, and we need to take care of them. They've been up there a hell of a long time. That's what happened. And so guess what? Trump calls Elon. Elon did what he said he could have done under the Biden administration. And what's annoying to me, Pat, is that the Biden administration didn't do the right thing for our own astronauts because they didn't want to give the win to Elon Musk during the election.
There you go. Adam, thoughts?
So here's a problem that I'm noticing in America, and it's not anything new. It's the inability to appreciate the other side when they do something good. Both sides do this. It's the inability to say, hey, man, you know what? I don't agree with you, but great job on this. It's the inability to basically recognize that both sides do good and bad things. So instead of rooting against the other team, here's a simple suggestion. Just root for America. Root for good things to happen to America. You want the economy to do good. You want the border to maybe be closed down. You want good things to happen. Do you remember in Congress during the speech that Trump gave? They said, hey, guys, a round of applause for this kid that just beat cancer.
Oh, my God.
And the Democrats sat there like, guys, this isn't a bipartisan issue. the kid beat cancer. Stand up and applause and shut your mouth. Be an American. So it's the people that are rooting for Elon Musk's Teslas to be ruined. It's the people who are rooting, this kid right here. It's the people who are rooting for the economy to go down. Newsflash, if the economy goes down, you're going to suffer also. So it's the definition of cutting off your nose to spite your face. Root for America. When the other team does something good, appreciate it, and then fight the fight that you want to win. But also when the other team does something well, congratulate them. That's a true American.
Let me ask you a question, Adam. And I'm being genuinely inquisitive. Do you think if the roles were reversed on this night, on the night when Trump did this with this freaking amazing kid that was honored as a freaking Secret Service member, which I don't think the left would ever bring, I don't think they do this type of stuff, but you think the Republicans would have stood up and clapped for that kid?
I would hope so. But I've seen ugliness on both sides.
But I don't think that side is that evil, as I've said. That not to stand, like, not one person on that side stood up and clapped for this kid, or even Laken Riley's family, or any of that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it drives me crazy. And then when you're saying, Adam, the other side, when the other side does something good, we should celebrate it and we should clap. What has the other side done that's good? I'm genuinely being like this guy. What did they do just in the past 4 years that would have made us, because you know I would have done that. If they did something good, I would have been like, yo, wow, hats off. I can't think of anything. Everything that they did was to try to destroy this freaking country. All of them, okay? And when you talk about the Elon story, Tom, it's insane that these two people were literally left to die because the other side, the Biden administration, all these people, the hate for Elon because he supported Donald Trump. And I'm telling you guys right now, and people keep saying Elon's the richest man in the world. No, he's not. There's Saudi guys, like... there's people that are out there that we don't even know. That
Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. Saudi Aramco is a true $1 trillion market cap company. That's a country. That's a company.
But what about
Elon Musk is the richest person.
Vladimir Putin's how rich, do you think? He owns Russia. I would beg to differ, the richest man in the world. But what my point is, choose your enemies wisely, Pat. That's the worst enemy that they could have picked is Elon Musk. Because they're starting a freaking fight with a guy that's not going to stop. So good luck.
And I think we have to be fair about something. You just said Biden left him to die. I don't think he left him to die. I think that's a little strong. But they were supposed to be up there for 8 days.
And how long were they there?
They were up there for 9 months.
Okay, that to me is, Tom, something horrible could have happened.
But it was on the International Space Station, and they had water, they had food, they had the resources up there. But what happened to their bodies?
Yeah, look at her, Tom. Look, Tom, to me, that you're leaving me to die, bro. Her chin started protruding because she has no freaking gravity.
That's almost as bad as what happened to Rosie O'Donnell after she got TDS in your video the other day.
But that's you're leaving me stranded. God forbid something bad happens to me.
9 months they were up there, Tom?
I don't know this lady.
Yeah.
I have no idea who she is.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's tough to act when you're in a bad mood or good mood. Her spirits.
Yeah.
I don't know who this person is, but she seems like she's... Because when you're there 8 days, like imagine how claustrophobic, if you're claustrophobic.
I am.
Then imagine if you're going somewhere, you're stuck in the elevator for 7 seconds. You're going from floor 2 to 6. And then all of a sudden, one time we're looking at this property in Miami.
You guys?
We're going and looking at this property in Miami. The lady who's the salesperson selling us the property, we get in the elevator. Dylan's with me. Senna's with me, Jen's with me, and our events crew.
Okay.
We're in the elevator. The elevator gets stuck.
Oh, man.
Guess who's panicking?
Her?
The lady working at the place.
Oh, man.
She starts hyperventilating. Dylan starts getting nervous.
Oh, no.
There's a couple to our right that are there because they're having a good time and they love the podcast.
Yeah.
Senna's looking at Mom, what's going on? So I got to pick them up. But she is full-blown losing her mind, right? And that was for 10 minutes.
Oh, my God.
5 minutes. Imagine. Guess what? What? You're going to be here for 9 months.
9 months.
What would you do? Like, do you not lose your shit?
With one person that you don't really know. You know them, but that's going to be your roommate for 9 months.
PBD, I know how much you love heights.
Yeah.
So if you were stuck up there in space, I mean, do you think you would lose?
Heights don't bother me, man. I'll go to the edge of the balcony and look down at the beautiful view of Miami and enjoy skydiving. Me and Vinny, we do it left and right. That's our specialty for sure. I look forward to doing that. Okay, so let's see what we got here. This next one here. Trump administration ends taxpayer-funded housing program for illegals. Okay. Why we had it in the first place, who the hell knows? So Trump's team, led by HUD Secretary Scott Turner and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, axed housing aid for illegal aliens. Rob, is this a video?
Yes.
Go for it. Play the video.
Hey, this is Scott Turner. I'm here today with my dear friend and colleague, Secretary Kristi Noem, and we're here signing a partnership to ensure that the wasteful misappropriations that have been going to assist illegal aliens in our country will no longer go to assist them, but instead to assist the American people, in particular as it pertains to housing. We have a housing affordability crisis in our country, and so today we are ensuring that American taxpayer dollars are used to assist the American people.
Unfortunately, under the Biden administration, they prioritized illegal aliens over American families. And so this memorandum is going to be a partnership that we will form to make sure that these housing programs are going to only people who deserve it, people who are in this country that need assistance, that want a better life for their families. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
This is a wonderful partnership between departments to do what we can to make sure we follow through on President Trump's promise to the American people. So with that, I will sign for the Department of Homeland Security.
Good. Awesome, Rob. Let me read
What
this
a
to you.
difference, huh?
So, a 2023 study by the Center for Immigration Studies found nearly 60% of households headed by illegal aliens are on at least one major form of taxpayer-funded welfare. Okay? Tom, thoughts on this? How big is this?
This is very, very big because, believe it or not, these programs, what we don't see is who they're actually helping. There are a lot of veterans that are helped by these programs. There are a lot of American citizens that, like in Western North Carolina, when things happen, that get help. It's not just FEMA. FEMA can help you rebuild your house, but there's also programs in there that are trying to help people who need it. And if we're taking off the supplemental voter program, the illegal aliens, then I think that's a good thing. The money gets routed back to, Americans who do it. And I'll say something else here. Kristi Noem, you give her a report card over the first 60 days here, it's pretty strong. Redirecting the Coast Guard into the Gulf of America, and the huge drug bust in Fort Lauderdale. Kristi Noem is really, to me, guess what? A governor. And governors, we have 51 CEOs in America. They're governors and the president. And I feel like she's been acting as a really good, acting very well and has a great report card for me. But I love to see this because Americans who live here and pay taxes and find themselves at the crossroads in life that get support from a program like this, this is what the program is about. Not to say, hey, keep coming across. I got a place for you. Here's your government cheese. Here's your free cell phone. Here's all these things we give you to get the immigrants on their feet when you've got loss of manufacturing jobs and, hurricanes that were in Western North Carolina and all these places where real Americans needed the support.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott Turner. Thank you, Kristi Noem.
Oh, and just going off of this one, Pat, the fact that we have to have the director of Homeland Security say, we're not going to let your money go to illegals that don't belong in the country is absurd. Did you see this video? Oh, by the way, she was at the border. She's everywhere. Compare her to Alejandro Mayorkas. She's at the El Salvador, the prison.
Remember the giant MS-13 roundup El Salvador prison? She's there saying, if you want to mess with us, you're going to be down here right behind me.
With a bunch of guys. Yeah.
Here at CCOT today and visiting this facility. And first of all, I want to thank El Salvador and their president for their partnership with the United States of America to bring our terrorists here and to incarcerate them and have consequences for the violence that they have perpetuated in our communities. I also want everybody to know, if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you could face. First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
How gangsterish. But by the way, all those guys, that is some scary, all those guys are just looking at the back of their head.
You don't see the guys off to the side with the machine guns.
Yeah,
right?
of course. It's crazy.
These guys are pretty...
Yeah.
All those kindergartners were very quiet standing in line. Look at that.
But what a difference of one side that's like, no, open the border, let everybody come in. You have to pay for all these people to live. Give them credit cards. When they punch New York police officers in the face, they walk out of jail the next day. They raise their middle fingers. What a freaking difference from 4 years to this year's. Like, and what was the goal? What was the goal of Alejandro Mayorkas? What is the goal of leaving the border wide open? The invasion that Trump said to Jim Acosta when he's like, it's an invasion. Jim Acosta's like, no, it's just a migrant. No, they're just walking here. And yeah. Okay. This is real leadership, and she's a freaking boss. And I'm ecstatic that we have her in.
Adam.
I don't know, guys. I'm really disappointed in Trump and Kristi Noem here.
Why?
How dare you prioritize citizens of America over the illegals? How dare you?
I know.
How dare you stop paying rent for illegals? How dare you stop giving credit cards to illegals and debit cards?
Yeah.
How dare you stop housing illegals and prioritizing newcomers to America over our citizens? People from all over the world, we all know this, Finney, come before our citizens.
Of course.
Globalism is coming to America, and how dare Trump stop that?
Unbelievable.
And he puts this beautiful woman named Kristi Noem to put lipstick on a pig of this open border drama that's going on here. We all know we need people pouring through the border.
Yeah.
We all know this. Trump, how dare you put America first? Do better, Donald Trump. Do better.
That was what a
He's gonna get that. He's gonna get that message.
That was just
Let's
fantastic.
go. Well, you know that there's the welfare state that we've been very critical on, that I think expanded under LBJ. Here's a new term: the illegal welfare state.
Yeah.
The welfare state has been out of control, whether it's food stamps, whether it's housing. It encourages people to have children because you get, rewards for basically, you always talked about the...
Get that check.
Get that check, save that money. Now it's the illegal welfare state where you don't even need to be a citizen to be taken care of.
By the way,
Unbelievable.
she continues. Kristi Noem reveals plan to eliminate FEMA. Rob, do you have that one?
I do. Give me
imagine how much problems we've had with FEMA the last few years, right?
Mm-hmm.
She announced elimination at Trump's cabinet meeting, and she boasted we are in a month of March, the last couple of weeks. Is this the one, Rob?
Yes.
Go for it.
I want to thank the Secretary of Defense and the Navy for all of their help and partnership too. We do operations together because their obvious Navy warships are in certain regions, but our cutters are faster and can work together in a partnership that's securing America. So, and we're going to eliminate FEMA. So we've got a lot to do, but it's all good, and we're working hard, and we're going to make sure that we're continuing to do exactly what you promised.
In a month of March, the last couple of weeks increased our deportations by 50%. We have broken historic records in the amount of drug how do you pronounce that, Rob?
Interdictions, seizures.
Interdictions that have been brought in. She plans to visit El Salvador, Colombia, Mexico to boost deportations. Noem told CNN in February, I would say yes, get rid of FEMA the way it exists today, calling it a bureaucracy that's picking and choosing winners. She wants funds for disasters like Hurricane Helen to go through local officials. Instead, she noted the Coast Guard's shift, saying, we've repositioned the fleet to go after the fentanyl crisis and go after the southern border and securing it. Tom, thoughts?
So here she is again. So what she said is, headlines, oh, she wants to get rid of FEMA, and FEMA is there to rescue you when their hurricane comes. No. Quote, I would say, yes, get rid of FEMA the way it exists today. It's the same statement that they made about the Department of Education. The Department of Education wasn't helping K-12 schools. Test scores weren't going up, and big grants were being given by the Department of Education to Ivy League schools. How does that help K-12? That doesn't. It's been redirected. FEMA, look at all the stories when Hurricane Helene happened in Western North Carolina that I've mentioned that area like 3 times today. What happened? We had stories of people saying independent groups, church groups that had actually chartered helicopters were not allowed to do certain things. FEMA's jurisdiction here, and we can't have extra aircraft in the air. We got to wait for that. Remember all that? Benny, remember that? It says FEMA is here. Well, they were doing a terrible job.
Yep.
They were doing a terrible job. And so the governors, she's saying just like, hey, let's send from the Department of Education, let's send the grants for autism support and all these things to the states. Here's your grant to go do good things to enhance what you're already doing in education. What she's saying, hey, look, when you're overrun by a disaster, we want to send the relief to the local officials, the governor and the the first responders who can see what everything has happened, not wait for FEMA people to come parachuting in and say, well, I'm in charge here and I'm going to do it. No, she's like, let's get the resources there. I love this move because you're going to see a whole bunch of bureaucracy squeezed out of Washington, D.C., and what's left is the fund the way it should be because hurricanes happen. Tornadoes happen in Oklahoma. Yep. And hurricanes happen in Florida. Earthquakes and wildfires happen in California, especially if you responsibly manage your state and you leave all the tinder out there to burn. So, and why shouldn't FEMA send grants to help the states?
Who would be against this? Who would be against this? Who would be frightened of this taking place?
I would say the Washington bureaucrats that have jobs, number one, and all the command and control Democrats who are scared of strong governors. Because remember, they don't want strong governors. They want the Department of Education to control the outcome. They want all of the federal programs to be in control. That is a tenet of socialism. They don't want the governors to be making decisions for their state that the governors was elected to do. Yep. They want to be controlling those governors from Washington. The bureaucrats at the top of this, the Mayorkases, they wouldn't want any of this. They would say, no, we're in charge here. We're in charge here.
Adam.
I just think it's a little play on words. I think where you have the Republicans like Kristi Noem that planning to eliminate FEMA, where you have the Democratic Party that it's looking to eliminate females. So whether it's the trans men in women's sports, whether it's the ridiculous stories you hear about tampons in boys' bathrooms, whether it's people like Dylan Mulvaney taking legitimate sponsorships away from women, whether it's literal trans women winning beauty contests, whether it's in Nevada, you also have big balloon-sized women in Alabama winning beauty contests. Let's just get back to normal and make women great again. That's my point.
And just to piggyback on FEMA, Tom, which I am all for them because it's been politicized. Do you remember the hurricanes that happened in Florida and the FEMA staffers that were told their team through that text to avoid helping Trump supporter houses that had Trump supporting stuff on the flag?
Even more reason that federal partisan bureaucrats should not be calling that shot.
Bingo. That's FEMA for you. Don't help the Trump houses. Go help everybody else. Okay.
Instead,
bye-bye.
Governor DeSantis, what else do you need? I see you're building the bridge back to the island faster than we could. Mm-hmm. What else do you need, sir?
Well, you talk about accountability a lot. If someone does that, they should be fired. And I think that person did get fired. Right? The person who was going around.
You would hope so because she didn't. She blamed it on everybody else. She blamed it up the leadership. But that's same thing with the FBI. Like you can't obviously root out everybody, but when it comes to people's lives,
you're both right. Consequences happen, but it was happening in the first place.
She didn't get fired. She on January 20th of 2025, when the Biden administration left and the Trump administration took over, she stepped down, but she was not fired for that.
Okay,
and she was
moments later. What would have happened?
She was the head of FEMA?
She knows what would have happened. Okay. She knows what would have happened. Yeah. Okay. All right, so let me get to this next story here. Next story is the Snow White, what do you call it? Producer's son.
Good.
Says Rachel Zegler hurt the film's box office with her actions in since-deleted comment. This is the exchange. Somebody at the top says, by the way, who's the first comment, Rob?
I couldn't see it. It's cut off, so I'm not sure.
Your dad flew to New York City to reprimand a young actress? Any word on this? Because that's creepy as hell and uncalled for. People have the right to free speech. No? Shame on your father. So the guy responds. You really want to do this? Yeah, my dad, the producer of enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicity for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability. And her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all the colleagues and crew, blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled and encouraged. Tom.
Thank you, Jonah Platt. Oh, my gosh. He's absolutely right. You know, the first person, your dad flew to New York to reprimand a young actress. No, he flew to New York to reprimand an employee or a contractor who was employed on the film. And, oh, she's exercising freedom of speech. Well, guess what? If somebody walks into Pat's office and says, I think you're a piece of crap and you don't run the company very well, and says, okay, well, look, I'm sorry you don't want to work here anymore, and we've set that up right now. Goodbye. You get your wish. Go take it somewhere. You don't have freedom of speech like that. Freedom of speech is Pat respecting, or any leader respecting, hey, I like the Yankees, I like Boston, and, you know, I disagree with this, I disagree with that, I'll be voting this way. And you can have that in your persona. But when you come out and the freedom of speech was to condemn the very thing that you're paid to build, are you kidding me? That someone, I'm more shocked by the post that came before than the one that came after. Because the one that came before is someone who obviously has no clue, literally no clue, to conclude that. And I love Platt's first saying, you really want to do this?
Yeah.
I love his first saying, you really want to do this? I love that.
Rob, do me a favor. Go to IMDb and just type in Snow White IMDb. Okay? Watch this here, folks. Go to Snow White. Look at the reviews.
1.6. Was that?
No. Look at how many reviews there is. Zoom in if you could, Rob. Does it show you or no?
562 user reviews.
No, that's not the one, Rob. It's if you go. There's 163,000 reviews, Rob. 163,000 reviews. I just texted it to you.
To the top right, maybe, Rob.
Right there. Zoom in right there. That's it. 163,000 rating, of which it got 1.6, not out of 5. Like, you know, sometimes you go to McDonald's, it's 1.6 out of 5.
Yeah.
1.6 out of 10.
Vinny, you know what that is?
How bad is that?
You took a test. You got a 16 on it. it's like,
Those calculus.
How do you get a 16?
Yeah.
What are the most rated movies on IMDb? What are the worst rated movies on IMDb?
Probably Ishtar or something like that, going back.
Bottom of what is it? I mean, I'm going through some of these lists here. 160-something thousand reviews. Maybe it hasn't updated yet. With a 1.6 stars. Absolutely embarrassing for somebody. Did you see the clip of her at the theater watching it by herself? Have you seen that one or no? I don't know if you saw that or not.
I saw a brief little.
Yeah. Adam, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think there's a common theme here. I think the Democratic Party and Disney are attached at the hip. So I think there's a common thread with approval ratings and the stock price of what's happened with the Democratic Party and with Disney. You know the famous phrase, go woke, go broke? Right now, Disney, their big blockbuster movie has plummeted, much like the Democratic approval ratings that reached, I think, an all-time low at, 27%? So, you know, they say that numbers talk, BS walks, words talk, numbers scream. People are screaming, Disney, get it together. Who is the Disney's customer? You talk about this all the time, Pat. It's families and it's parents who are paying for their kids to go to movies or go to theme parks or buy products. And you have parents looking at Disney being like, what are you doing, guys? This is supposed to be a place where magic happens. And all you're doing is indoctrinating kids. And you're having this person be the poster child of the Democratic Party. She is basically the AOC of Disney. And if you want to, or the Jasmine Crockett of Disney. I know we want to talk about her today. But if you want to look at why the Democratic Party has reached all-time lows, look no further than what Disney is doing with their woke, DEI, feminist agenda.
I want you to watch this here. Rob, play that clip that you had real quick. And then I'm going to show you what Bob Iger said about the movie. Go for it.
What's her friend screaming?
Wow.
And it's nobody was in there.
Can you go to that's very. So this is Bob Iger. Disney's Bob Iger says their mission is to entertain, not send messaging as Snow White sales compete for worst performing live action Disney adaptation ever. Go a little bit lower to see if there's any other quotes by him. Is it just the data that we've already read? The 40. Okay, go back up. What was it? 67 million. So go a little bit lower, Rob, if you could. Oh, right there. There you go. Disney remaining members because down 46, 67 million, 56 million. Snowball. It's a Huntsman. Go a little bit lower to see what are the numbers we see. Critics have been kind, giving the film a dismal 44% on Rotten Tomatoes, when the audience score smiling for giving 74%. Mustafa, Lion King, go a little bit lower. Bob Iger, we need to be entertaining. Hyperbolic shareholder, this isn't the first time Disney has scrutiny. I'm a billionaire. Infusing messaging is not what we're up to, Iger said. We need to be entertaining. His comments were likely aimed at critics like Peltz, who accused Disney of leaning too far into woke storytelling at the expense of financial performance. And by the way, do you know what Disney's stock was, what number it reached?
Yes.
If you go to Disney
it was
stock,
almost at, I think, 190 in 2020.
You just go to 5 years. Just go to 5 years. So right there, go to 197. The market cap at that time was roughly a $400 billion company.
Yeah.
Give or take a $380 billion company, $370 billion company. You know what it is today? A $181 billion company.
Yeah.
They've lost $200 billion in the last 4 years, Vinny.
Jeez.
$200 billion.
$200 billion
in the last 4 years.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
$200 billion.
And by the way, $200 billion. Yeah, and they have solid PE ratios. 32 point. Tom, how good of a PE ratio is 32.66?
That's still pretty strong.
That's
for
still
media.
pretty strong. So, meaning they could,
I mean,
for
there's
media,
room to fall.
a lot of room to fall. So
Really?
if this was a 20x PE ratio, you're looking at a $100 billion company. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here, but sometimes when you're trying to make a move and make changes in an organization, the way Trump does it, Trump came in and he took the biggest company in the world and he made immediate changes in 60 days. Iger needs to be inspired a little bit by Trump to come in and make immediate changes. Step down, bring somebody else to make immediate changes. They're using the 5-year method. Well, in the movie business, it takes a long time to do that. Nothing takes longer than government. Nothing. So if a president can come in and move things within 60 days, Bob, you can come and move things as well. But you're moving super slow, and one guy's making you look bad, and it's a different executive of the biggest company in the world. That's Trump. Tom.
Well, if this keeps up, they're going to have to start cutting talent at ESPN. They're going to possibly put ESPN up for sale. They're going to cut programming. Oh, wait a minute.
They already did that.
Checking
Tom,
checking notes.
Yeah,
they're already doing that.
All right, let's go
and
to
it's not helping.
No, it's not. Let's go to the next story here. Vinny, what's going on with this judge? Tell us about this judge.
All right. Well, just for everybody that's not following along, you guys are knowing, with the P. Hegseth, and his name is Judge Boasberg. He's the activist judge.
Rob, can you show us picture so people can see?
Yeah,
it?
and by the way, and I'm not making fun of the look, Tom. I'm just saying they all have that. What's the guy from Brazil, the judge that he has that? They just have that.
Alexandre de Moraes. He looks
when
like
they have guys, when you're not happy and you just have this hate in your heart and you're activist, this is what happens. So this is Judge Boasberg, the same guy who intentionally.
It's a terrible word if he was Armenian, but go ahead, keep going. Yeah, no, keep
1,000%.
going. Yeah.
But guys, and I just connect these dots that everybody else could do if you just do a little bit of research. He's the same guy who intentionally delayed Hillary's email so voters wouldn't find out the truth before the 2016 elections. Weird. He's the same guy who blocked Trump from deporting violent, illegal gang members out of the United States. Now he just so happens to be the one presiding over the Signal chat leak case with Pete Hegseth. Okay, and it's not this. It's not. To me, it's like, haven't we learned the lesson? Like, it's not justice. It's controlled opposition. The whole story, to me, Pat, stinks because now we're finding out with all this stuff, people that were involved, and there's really no explanation of how a reporter from The Atlantic got into this chat. And I'm not being that guy, but I'm just stating facts where everybody's confused. They really don't know. Even Mike Waltz, Rob, is that the clip where Mike Waltz is kind of talking about it?
Yes.
Can you please play that?
Success. So they want to focus on this. It's embarrassing, yes. We're going to get to the bottom of it. I just talked to Elon on the way here. We've got the best technical minds looking at how this happened.
Weird.
But I can tell you for 100%, I don't know this guy. I know him by his horrible reputation, and he really is a bottom scum of journalists. And I know him in the sense that he hates the president, but I don't text him. He wasn't on my phone, and we're going to figure out how this happened.
So you don't know what staffer is responsible for this right now?
Well, look, a staffer wasn't responsible, and look, I take full responsibility. I built the group. My job is to make sure everything's coordinated.
But how did that number? I mean, I don't mean to be pedantic here, but how did the number?
Have you ever had somebody's contact that shows their name, and then you have somebody else's number there?
I never make those mistakes.
Right? You got somebody else's number on someone else's contact. So of course I didn't see this loser in the group. It looked like someone else. Now whether he did it deliberately or it happened in some other technical mean is something we're trying to figure out.
Hold on, can we just say something too, Adam? Do you guys remember? Hold on, do you remember when Tucker Carlson went to Russia and he sat on a podcast, I think it was with the Nelk Boys, and he said unequivocally, he goes, somebody hacked into my signal and they did stuff to my signal. So what I'm saying is until we know all the facts, which everybody, like you, Adam, I'm going off of your words, everyone wants to just jump on everything. Until we know all the facts of how something like that could happen, let's not jump to it. Number one, was the mission accomplished? Did we kill the people that we were trying to go and attack and do it? Yes, mission complete. And the stuff that was in the text wasn't classified information that hurt national security, because all I keep hearing is national security. Nobody gave a damn about national security for the past 4 years when terrorists have come over, when you have literally terrorists looking in front of the camera and going, soon you will know my name. Soon you will. Nobody batted an eye. Now, because of a text leak, which we haven't found out what the hell the answer is, now everybody's worried about national security. Let's wait and see what happens,
Vinny,
but I believe him.
Vinny, I love you. Why do you sound so angry
Because
about this?
Adam, you see this shirt?
Yeah,
everybody see that?
But why is you're always angry, but what is it?
I'm always angry.
Why is this story angering you so much?
It's just weird that this judge is involved and that the left, this is just something that the left is jumping on so hard. They're having meetings, they're having hearings, and it's like, listen, if they made a mistake, good, admit it. They've admitted it, they're moving on, but until we find out how does an Atlantic, a guy that they all despise, how did he jump into this text? How? Why?
That's the question I get this is a trending story, you know, and Pat, you always talk about signal versus noise.
There's a signal.
I'm just going to speculate for a second.
Go ahead.
You know how many people you meet at a business conference, at an event, at the vault or whatever, and you get and exchange phone numbers, and you never speak to them again, ever? And they're in your phone, and then you're putting a text message together, and let's say I want to put Tom and accidentally put Tomas that I met at a different thing, maybe the Latino Tom, Merengue Tom, and then I'm putting a group text message together, and I have 10 people in there, and I accidentally put the one wrong guy. Okay, let's just chalk this up to most likely he added the wrong person. Who's the guy he added? Jeff Goldblum or whoever? From Jurassic Park? Whoever the hell it was. He added the wrong guy. Just be like, yo, my bad. I screwed up. I'll freaking do better next time.
He did it. He goes, it falls on me.
So just own up to it. You put the wrong person in the group chat.
Maybe.
Move on.
Maybe. Well,
what do you mean?
Let them find out.
That's so much more of a simpler explanation that you're putting a group chat together. You put the wrong person in. That maybe we were hacked and they put the Atlantic guy in there and he was undercover. And what happens was, you all know when you put the wrong phone cat, they're going to. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? You screwed up. Take ownership. It's not that big of a deal. Move on. And that's the most likely what happened.
We'll wait and see. Wait and see.
Well, first of all, this is a big mistake. And second of all, Mike Waltz has said, you know, the buck stops with me. It's my organization. We're looking at how it happened. And, you know, I'm responsible. And so I like the fact that Waltz has said, hey, I'm responsible. If this was the other way around, you know, the Republicans would be hammering this too. So one side is giving the other side a big nail sticking up, and the other side is just hammering on that nail. And that's what's going on. Now, what am I happy about? Not one person has said that the mission was compromised, U.S. servicemen were shot down, or something horrible. I would feel differently about it. Actually, no, I feel the same way, but I am relieved to hear that apparently we didn't lose anybody and nothing leaked to the Houthis, that they got any aircraft missile going, anything, that the guys we wanted to get, we got. So mission accomplished, allegedly, what they're saying.
Just like when George Bush stood on that big battleship and said, mission accomplished.
Well, that was a little bit different. And now we know there's a little bit of marketing there to call it the 100-hour war and things like that. So there was a little bit of spin.
Do you guys know who the chair of the board of Signal is? Anybody? Adam?
Tell us.
Her name is Catherine Marr, like Bill Maher. She's a leftist NPR CEO. She's on the. What are the odds of that? Look at who's. And she's been on X. She's had some crazy speeches before, so it's kind of weird that everybody's kind of connected. Go ahead, Rob.
It's very interesting that she comes up because she was just in front of Congress yesterday where she was questioned about wanting reparations in financial form and tweeting about that. Here's what she had to say.
She got grilled pretty good.
Can't hear it, Rob.
I've never said that, sir.
Go back a little bit.
Sorry about that.
Do you think that white people should pay reparations?
I have never said that, sir.
Yes, you did. You said it in January of 2020. You tweeted, yes, the North, yes, all of us, yes, America, yes, our original collective sin and unpaid debt, yes, reparations, yes, on this day.
I don't believe that was a reference to fiscal reparations, sir.
What kind of reparations was it a reference to?
I think it was just a reference to the idea that we all owe much to the people who came before us.
That's a bizarre way to frame what you tweeted.
So, and remember all those connections that you're talking about? So one person could be like, well,
And it
she's
got
in
worse.
charge.
It was a bad hearing
Yeah, it was
for her.
horrible. She's there. The judge has been involved with all these other things. He's obviously a Democrat, and it's all of a sudden, boom, this early they found it. So I don't know. Like I said, we'll
Can I
wait.
give one?
Well,
Rob,
I was
just sent you a
asked,
text.
and
Let
I'll
me know when
sum
you
it
got
up,
that.
and I'll let you guys segue to the other side of it if you want. But Walz took responsibility. Good. It happened in the first place. Very, very bad. Right? None of our servicemen were compromised. Very good. Mission was accomplished. Good. And now both sides are going to hammer on it. I'm really focused on the men and women that were in arms, that the mission wasn't compromised, and somehow we lost people because it leaked.
Well, thank goodness. Rob, I sent the Wall Street Journal did a great job of basically kind of laying out the facts of this story. Pete Hegseth, who's under fire right now because he's the Secretary of Defense, he came out and made a statement, and he basically was like, listen, there was nothing inappropriate on there. There was nothing leaked. There was no mission details. There was nothing on there. And then, Rob, you get the text I sent you?
I did. It's taken a while to download the photos.
Gotcha.
I'm looking.
But, all right, do you want me to just send this to you in Slack?
And while you're doing that, Adam, do you guys think it's good? I'm being genuine.
But
do you think it's smart if you're the reporter to leak every single, like, you should go to the FBI, you should go to the Department of Homeland Security and say, hey, listen, this was leaked. I'm not trying to compromise. You guys need to fix this instead of making it obviously reported later after the math.
That part you have to know that even when WikiLeaks was leaking stuff, Cuomo back in the days was like, this is not the right thing to do. You should drop it off to the government and all that other stuff. So that argument is made on both sides. And then the conservatives were happy that WikiLeaks leaked some of the information on what happened with some of the emails. So again, this is both. What's this here, Rob? This is.
So this is the text that we're talking about. This chat.
Yeah.
So, Rob, if you want to go back to the one that's highlighted.
Is this the one?
There's one that's highlighted, Rob. Yeah, these are the actual plans. They said first strike package was going to be at 12:15 Eastern. At 13:45, there's a trigger-based F-18 first strike Windows starts. These looks pretty damn specific to me. At 4:15, strike drones on target. This is when the first bombs will definitely drop. Also, sea-based tomahawks. This looks pretty damn specific.
Yeah.
So, and it's also called. Do you notice the name of the group chat? It's called the Houthi PC small group.
Go to Hillary Clinton's Twitter account. I can't believe I'm saying that, but go to Hillary Clinton's Twitter account.
I can't believe that came out of your mouth.
Yeah. Go to Hillary Clinton.
Go to Hillary's X.
If you go,
You see that guy? Yeah.
if you go there and zoom into her, no, not this one, the one before this.
Future president.
Right there. She says, never thought I'd be retweeting Piers Morgan, but he's right. If you don't consider this is to be classified info about the imminent war plans, it may be that you're too partisan to recognize the truth when it slaps you around your tribal chops. If this happened on Biden's watch, Republicans would have rightly gone berserk.
Yeah.
And it shows the same exact thing. So, look, you can't have this happen, period. You have to be very careful. You know, when we have an employee that's not with us anymore and they're added in a group text, and, you know, that is already something where it's like, hey, what are you doing? It's reactivating that group text from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Go back up, and all you need to do is see who is in that group text, and you have to always do it. That's at a lower level of a small company, right? Let alone doing it at a bigger level of a military with things on the line. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's and the left is making crazy claims. Hegseth was drunk and this, that. That's really the angle they want to take it because they want to find a way to character assassinate and make fun, and he's not the right person to run this, and that's what they're going to be doing. But you have to be careful with this stuff, Vinny.
But it is rich, though, that Hillary Clinton, of all people, is commenting on anything that has to do with emails or texts or national security.
For sure.
Let's not, like, the fact that she's even trying to be relevant, it's like this woman will
last
not just...
person to have the moral authority to criticize this or say anything about it. Yeah.
Period. Like, and again, this is going towards the Democratic Party. That party will never, ever change. Besides the Jasmine Crockett, I forget even get there. They're never going like that. You should tell her, people like her, just disappear. Don't talk because you look like a moron. All the Blackberries they destroyed, all the emails, all the testimony, it's just.
But Vinny, don't get it twisted. Wrong messenger. Right message.
Right message, yes.
She's right.
100%.
They screwed up.
I agree.
And
I said it. I was the first one to say it.
And by the way, screw-ups are going to happen.
I agree.
Okay? And if just because it's a screw-up, now they want to go and basically try to dismantle and just wreck Pete Hegseth, claim that he's drunk during all this. By the way, J.D. Vance was in this text message group. You have Mike Waltz texting J.D. Vance. It's one of the other ones right there. He said, VP, the building collapse had multiple positive ID. Pete, Carilla, the IC, amazing job.
What?
JD Vance goes, what? Typing too fast, first target, their top missile guy. The point is, these conversations should happen, do happen. We're just getting it's exposed because they screwed up and added one person that should have not been there, and they should be under hot water for screwing up.
I agree.
Let's go through a couple of these stories here and wrap up. Okay. Next story. Zelensky says Putin will die soon and vows it will come to an end. Okay, Rob, if you got the clip for this one, go ahead. This is Zelensky.
But it also depends on his age. He will die soon, and that's a fact, and it will come to an end. And it could come to an end even before
What are you saying?
he ends his absolutely safe and historically losing life. Historically lost life.
How did this not get more attention?
I don't. What? Because he said if he dies being a young age, or if he dies before that. That's basically saying.
No, he didn't say if he dies. He says he most likely will die before. Can you go back and play that clip again, Rob? In like 5 seconds into it, you just had it up. There you go.
He's reading from a script.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
And that's a fact, and it will come to an end. And it could come to an end even before.
It
could come even before, meaning what are you saying?
What are you saying?
Before old age, what?
What are you saying? How old is Putin, Rob?
72 years old.
Oh, he's chilling,
So
bro.
72 years old to say something like that. Tom, how do you process that?
I don't process it about Putin. What I process is Zelensky is saying something inflammatory about one of the three parties that is trying to negotiate a ceasefire. So you've got the U.S. trying to get Ukraine and Russia in wherever it was, in Saudi Arabia, wherever they were, and on the phone. And since they were trying to get this delicate thing, we have a little bit of a ceasefire going on. This, Zelensky says this. To me, this is like, this guy doesn't want a ceasefire. He's now poking the bear on the eve of getting a ceasefire. What's going on here? Who's in his ear telling him to do things like this to try and piss off Russia? That is my take.
Adam.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he was just watching Rocky IV and he was getting motivation from Ivan Drago when he says,
if he dies,
he dies. And this is maybe where he's getting his motivations. And, you know, Rocky, I think, was also Sylvester. How tall was Sylvester Stallone?
5'8".
5'8"?
Yeah.
How tall do you think Putin is?
5'7".
How tall do you think Zelensky is? 4'2". So I think actually Putin and Zelensky are the exact same height. It's the ironic thing. He just looks way shorter. I don't know. You know, he's probably, my assumption is he's talking about the fact that he is 72 years old. You know, the life expectancy of a healthy 72-year-old is going to take you to 90-something. He's probably not going to die in the next 10, 20 years, but we'll see. But then again, let's just get real here. These guys are at war, and war, you're trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
So if he dies, he dies.
Yeah, I guess the question is he insinuating? Is he indirectly sending a message? Is he trying to rattle Is he trying to make a comment to prevent this ceasefire from taking place because it'll stop the inflow of money coming in? Is he what is the sign language? Like, when you know somebody for a while, you'll know when they're speaking. They'll know, like my guys who work with me for a long time, sales guys. I would be speaking on stage. I never mentioned anybody's name, but everybody knew who I was talking about. Not everybody. The main top 5% knew who I was talking about. People have to know why he's saying something like that. You're a world leader. You're in the middle of it. Some guy named President Trump is trying to prevent and stop the war that continues, that's costing hundreds of thousands of people's lives. And that's how you want to speak? So I would call him if I'm him. I'm like, can I ask you a question? Yes. Why did you say that? What was your outcome of saying that? It doesn't sound like you're committed to doing anything. It doesn't sound like you want to get anything done. What was your purpose of saying that? Has anybody reacted to what he said, Rob?
Not that I have seen.
I don't think so.
Has anyone reacted to what Zelensky said about Putin could die? Could die. All right, so let's just see who has retweeted this. Zelensky says Putin will die.
So much for diplomacy.
Okay, so that's Russia TV, though, right? Russia, what's RT stand for?
Russia, yeah, it's Russia.
Yeah.
Russia, what is it?
I think it's Russia Today.
Russia Today, okay.
Yeah.
So go a little bit lower, just to see if anybody else is. Actor is a moron. Zelensky says Putin will die soon. Okay, keep going. But who else has reacted to it? After all this man has done for money, now he understands money components. Keep going lower. Okay, so that's that. Putin has only 3. Okay, so now it's getting into stuff from many years.
No,
it's not nothing that's
nobody.
yeah.
So nobody.
I don't know.
Can I ask you a question,
Yeah.
Pat? So certainly in the spirit of diplomacy and trying to end a war, this wasn't a comment that you should be making. But just a hypothetical, what if this was Putin who said this about Zelensky? You never know. He might die very soon. We'll see. Do you think that would be also an egregious mistake? Do you think it would be something similar to that?
Is it? Yeah, for sure. If Putin said it, look, if you're a world leader and you make comments, I have to sit there and think, is this a distraction comment? Because sometimes you'll make a comment to get people to go look here, and all the time you're over here, right? So I understand that. I mean, you're supposed to understand these types of things as a world leader to throw people off. So could this be a throwing off people? I don't think so. What are you throwing people off of? Throwing people off of this topic, like let's just say if you're trying to do something like that, you want to throw people off, you should have talked about, what's going on with Canada and Mexico and try to poke the bear to annoy him in a different way. Not to say something like this. This doesn't, I don't know.
Because
I'm not in it. Again, I'm not inside of it to be able to call 17 people and say, what was this about? And be able to process it with generals and leaders and political guys. I'm not inside of it.
But it's also timing. If you said this a year ago or 2 years ago, when you're literally in the height of the war, rhetoric, okay.
Rob, click
when
on
you're
the
trying to have
Newsweek
peace
one.
negotiations.
Yeah, I know. Click
it's
on
problematic, right?
Click on a Newsweek one. Let's see what the 5 takeaways are. Let's see what Newsweek says. Go a little bit lower, Rob, for the top 5. Why does it matter if the rumors of Putin's death? Zelensky may have been simply referring on how leaders live forever, but Zelensky insistence, to continue isolating Putin under Kiev. Okay, so all right. So he's saying it just because he's going to eventually die. What to know? Zelensky took questions from several broadcasters from Ukraine. Wide-ranging interview followed by talks in Saudi Arabia on Russian partial ceasefire on the Black Sea. And for agrees, but Zelensky said he hoped the U.S. would stand strong in the face of Russian demands to lift sanctions as a conditions. Okay, go a little bit lower for the Black Sea. Putin will die soon. Zelensky said that the U.S. should not bring Putin out of political and economic isolation, that right now was one of the most dangerous moments. As the Russian leaders wanted to remain in power until his death, and he had ambitions beyond Ukraine, which was why U.S. and Europe stayed. Okay, he added he will die soon. Zelensky gave no further detail on face questions about the health, which Kremlin has been dismissed. Okay, Steve Witkoff knows real estate. Go a little bit lower, Rob, to see what the U.S. influenced by Russian disinformation. U.S. remains. What are the 5 points that they're talking about? Return of missing children. Zoom out a little bit to see if we see any 5 points. Go anything lower? Nothing there. Yeah, I don't see anything there. I don't know why he's saying this. I don't know why he's saying it. Anyways, let's go to the next story. Maybe we'll find out. But I would be so furious if I'm Trump and I'm trying to broker a deal and you're talking like this. What the F are you doing? What are you doing? Anyways.
You want to talk about LeBron, this last story?
Yeah, I got 2 stories I want to go to. Let's go to the LeBron one. So LeBron James addresses Stephen A. Smith's confrontation for the first time. And so where does LeBron go? to the direct competitor of Stephen A. Smith, he goes to the Pat McAfee show, okay? Just to say, hey, I'm going to this guy over you, and we know he's doing that. We understand. The guys that follow these stories know what's going on. But let's go on and play this clip. Go for it, Rob.
Which leads, obviously, to you and Stephen A. Hey, legit, that feels like a moment that had been brewing for a long time.
He's like on a Taylor Swift tour run right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're watching it. We're all seeing it.
Oh, yeah.
You're seeing it as well. It's
he literally, it started off with, I didn't want to address it.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it. But since the video came out, I feel the need to address it.
You would be not to talk about it.
Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you could address it, it's your ass. Like, seriously, it's, and like another, he completely like missed the whole point. The whole point. Never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job, to criticize or to, be in a position where, okay, if a guy's not performing, that is all part of the game. That's all part of the game. But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players. And I think a lot of the media, including him, and I know he's gonna be happy as hell. He's gonna be smiling from ear to ear when he hears me talking about him again. Oh my God, he's gonna get home and grab some ice cream out of the fucking freezer and sit in his chair in his tighty whiteys on the couch.
I hope at some point you two do get a chance. But you're right.
Dude, relax, bro. Relax. Seriously.
Yeah. So Stephen A. responds to this in a couple different ways, Rob. I don't know if you have it or not, but until you find it, which is fine. LeBron goes in troll mode and he posts a picture because Stephen A. said, if you get to my face, is this the one, Rob?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and play this clip.
Man put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him. Immediately. That man put his hands on me.
By the way, to his defense, he came back and said, guys, play the entire clip. Because he did say, he would have destroyed me.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, I would have reacted to it. Yeah, no, he did. Of course, he qualified it. But then LeBron went and posted this on his Instagram account.
Okay, SA.
So obviously, there's a lot of fun going on with this here. But he had a full-on reaction. But before I go there, Adam, your thoughts, and then I'll show you the clip on Stephen A.
We're talking about GOATs here. Now, if they're going to play one-on-one and play basketball or even fight, put your money on LeBron. You're putting your money on Stephen A. But LeBron, respect to you, buddy, on the court, off the court. You also are a family man. When it comes to debating, when it comes to having the verbiage, when it comes to speaking, you're talking to the GOAT right here. This is Stephen A., arguably the greatest sports commentator of all time.
Or trash talker.
You don't want to go into that ring with Stephen A. Stay on your side. So you know how LeBron was talking about, listen, I'm going to stand up for my other players or stand up, as a father. Let's not get it twisted. You're not standing up for any other players to Stephen A. like this. Yep. You're standing up for one player and one player only, and his name is LeBron James Jr., a.k.a. Bronny James. So Stephen A. has every right to criticize an NBA player and say, look, maybe he ain't cut out for the league. But you know what just happened? Actually, turned out it actually was motivation and fire under Bronny James's butt. Why? Because a week or so later, a guy who was averaging 0.5 points a game, not even a full point, came out at a career-high 16 points playing for the Lakers while LeBron was out of the game. So maybe this was the thing that Bronny needed to get into the league. Let's not forget, Bronny has not played much college or professional basketball. Remember, he played for USC for like a half a season because he was out the first half of the season with a heart condition. Yeah. Let's not make any assumptions.
Whatever.
Let's just go with
whatever will make an 18-year-old heart stop. Whatever. Exactly. Everybody can make their own opinion.
Last point. It is very interesting. Pat, you called it his rival, Pat McAfee. A lot of people don't know the inside stuff, to quote Ahmad Shad with this thing right here. But Pat McAfee, he signed a $100 million contract, whatever it was, a couple years ago. Stephen A. Smith has been under contract negotiations for what feels like years, and it just got solidified this month. $100 million for, I believe, 4 years, 5 years.
It's competitive.
Okay.
It's competitive. Rob,
So it's
go on and
competitive.
play this clip.
What he had to say, I was in no position to give any kind of retort without making a scene. It was during the third quarter. It was fresh out of a timeout. It was him walking to the basketball court. It was on national television. The cameras were rolling. And had I done something, what do y'all want me to do? You want me to act? You want this to be a reincarnation of Chris Rock and Will Smith? And let me state for the record that while we bring up that, let me assure you it wouldn't have gone down like that. I would have gotten my ass kicked because had that man put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him. Immediately. That I'm not going to tolerate. But I knew he wasn't going to do something like that. There was no fear in my mind about it. It was shock. Because as I have repeatedly stated, I was not talking about his son. I was talking about him.
Is that it, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's a clip. There's a clip there that he says LeBron is a liar. He's shady. He's this. He's that. He's this. And I'll try to find that clip. To
I mean,
give
he
it to you.
kind of is though. Isn't
He what?
LeBron kind of is just from the past couple of years with everything from when it came to China when the NBA was making all this money, he stayed quiet when everybody
Is
was.
this it, Rob?
Yes.
This is
Yeah,
it.
go
Go
ahead.
for it. Play this clip. This is it. Go ahead.
But don't the truth matter? Because there's one person in this ordeal that's telling the truth, and it's me.
This is
I don't lie to y'all. His ass lies a lot. And there's a lot of shady stuff that he does. And one of the things is his passive aggressiveness and the two-facedness and smile in your face and dig you behind the back. I happen to know that about him, which is why I don't like him.
Damn.
And he don't like me.
That's right.
But it doesn't stop me from being fair and calling it like I see it. We ain't exchanging Christmas gifts. We ain't having Thanksgiving dinner together. What you bring your son up in there for? What you bring your family up in there before? You gonna go on Pat McAfee show, talk about you gonna protect your house. What you talking about? Your son ain't at the house. He's at crypto.com arena. We ain't covering him in Brentwood. We covering him in downtown LA at the crypto.com arena. Where you put him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and by the way, that's the criticism. He says another story, he says, LeBron's always been the guy that's been the passive-aggressive guy. And he says he's the guy that will say something to your face and then go behind your back. I don't trust this guy. He said this straight up about what do you call it, LeBron, and how he is. And then later on, the topic of discussion came up about Michael Jordan. Rob, do you have that one?
I do.
Okay, so he's asked about Michael. He says, how often do you guys speak, right? And this is so funny because
He said
of
never, I believe. Right?
Yeah, well, he says he explains why Michael said we can't speak. I don't know if he says it in this clip, but go for it, Rob.
Okay, so you and Michael at a good spot.
Who, me and Michael?
Jordan?
Yeah, we're in a good spot. We don't talk.
Why not, you think?
Because I'm still playing. I think I'm still playing. I'm still focused on my craft right now.
When you're done, you think you two will be the
I would
only
hope
two
so.
that can have a conversation?
I would hope so. The funny thing is, me and Kobe, besides our, the late great Kobe, obviously, me and Kobe never had a real relationship either until we was on the Olympic team. We had a great relationship there. Olympic team 8, Olympic team 12. But it was always competitive between us. We were always like, I was on the East Coast, he was on the West Coast, and it was like, even though we never, I fucked up one time in 09 and didn't beat Orlando, and I think it was 09, didn't beat Orlando and didn't get him an opportunity to play him in the finals. But
That's when Dwight Howard made it to the finals.
Until I became a Laker, and then he retired, that's when our relationship became really, really good. Yeah. He welcomed me, called me bro, anything you need in LA, I got you. You're a Laker now, you family, and we would have multiple conversations. He was obviously, you got saw him coming to a lot of games and things of that nature. And when I passed him in the scoring record in Philly, I think he had a tweet out there keep on going, keep transcending the game, keep going, and that shit meant so much to me. So I think it's because I'm still playing, and MJ's we all know MJ. Even if you don't know him personally, he's one of the most ruthless competitors there is. And till I'm done, and he doesn't have to look at me run up and down wearing the number 23, and every time my name is mentioned with his, he's like, I don't want to fucking talk to you.
Yeah, I'm on a golf course. Yeah, I'm on a golf course.
Don't talk to me right now. I'm on the back nine. Do not call me.
It was great to see y'all at the top 75.
Oh yeah, that was dope. That was dope.
Yeah,
that's straight respect, admiration, and just like, me for sure. I mean, shit. Like I said, I wear 23 because of MJ. And that shit, the inspiration that he gave me as a kid in Akron, Ohio, that don't have much inspiration in your hometown.
At the top 75, the 75 best players, that one thing, where do they rank Michael? Where do they rank LeBron?
Do they rank it in order, in hierarchical order?
They do, because I think they just put... They came in a 75th anniversary rank... so this is the NBA's 75th anniversary, ranked 76 basketball legends. Check what year was this, Rob?
2022.
Okay. That's, okay. He won okay, so go see who's in the top 10. Who do they have in the top 10? All the way down.
Isaiah Thomas, number 1. We know that.
Yeah, for sure. And then, by the way, he said something else in the podcast. Okay, let's go through. Let's see who they have. Durant 12, ahead of Olajuwon. I don't know. Shaq is 11?
Okay.
I don't know about
Let's see who's that.
Kobe
10. Above Shaq?
No, but that's not the point. Kobe 10th. Keep going.
Let's keep going.
Oscar 9th.
Oscar Robertson, Mr. Triple-Double.
How many championships? Duncan. Can you see how many championships Oscar Robertson won?
He averaged a tip. He was like
He was Russell Westbrook. But that's not.
Back in the day.
How many championships did he win? Did Oscar Robertson win? I thought it was only one he won. Yeah, he won one championship. Why do you put him ahead of that? That's so weird to me. Who the hell? I can't trust the rest of it.
12-time NBA.
I can't trust
Milwaukee Bucks in 71. Was Kareem there at that time?
Keep going, Rob. I have no respect for this list now.
Tim Duncan, Mr. Fundamental. Here we go.
Give it a freaking break. He's got 5 championships.
Pat already doesn't like this list. Let's see what's going on here. Larry Legend at
3
7.
championships.
Yeah, but you got to put a white. It's reverse DEI for the NBA.
Go ahead.
Got to have one white guy. Come on, guys. Let's have a little respect.
All right. So now you put Bill Russell.
10 championships.
Now you
How
put
many?
him. Give me, but look at his stats. 15.1, 22.5. Now you put him here because of 11 championships.
22 rebounds, PBD.
I totally get it, but then put Rodman in there with 17.
Rodman didn't have 22 rebounds.
Keep going. Chamberlain.
Wilt.
5 ahead of a.
That was 100
ladies
that night.
He deserves to be in the top 5. I'm with that.
Yep.
Keep going. Magic Johnson, 4.
You're going to have Kareem.
Dude, I interviewed Magic.
Yeah.
In front of a couple thousand people at Fort Worth Convention Center, and in front of everybody. He says, let me make it very clear. Kobe is the greatest Laker of all time. They have him at 4th place and Kobe at 10th place? Give it a break. Keep going, Rob. Keep going. Kareem 3. Okay, that's fine. That argument can be made for sure. Keep going.
Number 2.
LeBron and then Michael.
And then Michael.
Stop
okay.
it. This is a terrible. Matter of fact, what's wrong with that? This is terrible. Let's just transition away from.
And by the way, I looked it up. Oscar Robinson, Oscar's center in 1971 was a very young Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Dumbest list I've seen.
Quick question. By the way, in other words, Robertson doesn't get the championships with that one championship without Kareem.
Well, Kobe doesn't get championships without Shaq. We won't go there, but stop. Shaq won all the MVPs. That PBD. I have a very straightforward question for the boss.
Which was my point.
Okay. So LeBron is defending Bronny Jr., LeBron James Jr. Yeah. Hypothetically, you've got kids. You have one kid that is very politically inclined.
Yeah.
His name is Patrick Bet-David Jr., Tico. So let's say there comes a day when Tico's starting to do content. Maybe he's one of the co-hosts here. And he has a slow start. It's his rookie year. And maybe there's a Stephen A. Smith out there that starts to talk trash or someone in the comments about your son. Don't you think there's going to be a different...
The way Stephen A. did it?
The way that, yeah, I guess there's 2 different people here.
The way Stephen A. did it was
comments
pure,
out there.
Fair play.
Okay.
No.
So if he's talking about Tico that way?
No problem.
Okay.
Listen,
walk me through this, please.
Because he didn't disrespect. He just said he doesn't belong in the league. If, let's just say, somebody gets on the podcast, they say, you don't belong in the league to do podcasts. When we started doing podcasts, like, you're not a podcaster. You're not a this. You're not a that. Mm-hmm. What do you think in creating content? Yeah, you're supposed to say that. And then I said that to a guy today. A guy next to me today says, let me tell you, I think I'm in the top 1% of podcasters in the world. And he's got 4,000 subscribers. and I'm trying to compliment him. Then all of a sudden it becomes so hype, and I'm like, bro, forgive me for complimenting you. Let me take that back. You're not in the top 1% of podcasters. Now you sound arrogant. Now you sound entitled. Now you sound this. And I don't even know if you're asking questions. So for the first 7 years of us doing YouTube, every other month we would hire a consultant for YouTube to learn about what stats and data and what mistakes we're making. We didn't know if we were going to be in the space for this long to improve. Till today, we're trying to find a way to improve. Constantly, we're coming up with new strategies and things that we're doing. No, I have no problem with that kind of feedback being given. You disrespect, it's a different story.
Okay.
And I don't think Stephen A. crossed the line with disrespect. No, but LeBron is a passive-aggressive guy, and LeBron is a guy that thinks there's never been a superstar in the history of the NBA that thinks as highly of himself as LeBron does. Never. There's never been one that thinks highly of himself as LeBron does. That is such a drama. Look, to me, it's mathematically impossible for LeBron to be. I have him as second, right?
Yeah.
But I can easily see somebody making an argument to show. There's videos of LeBron. He gets hit like this. He touches his head and he starts scratching it like he got punched in the head.
How can a man take such abuse?
Yeah, that's the videos, right? So, no, I don't know. I just don't see that.
Real quick, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, my justification for why he maybe feels entitled that way, we've never seen anybody go from literally 10th grade being the chosen one, King James, and then literally delivering. Because every other player who's in that conversation, especially in the social media age, MJ got cut from his high school team. So there was always a chip on his shoulder. Okay, he wasn't the GOAT.
Kobe went high school.
Remember he had his kill list? Kobe was like a top
7.2 points a game his rookie season. He averaged 15 points a second season. Rob, can you go to his stats?
MJ wasn't the number one pick. We saw Sam Bowie the other night. Sam Bowie.
Sam Bowie fighting
Portland.
We saw Sam Bowie was picked ahead of him. He had a chip on his shoulder. Kobe was drafted by Charlotte and then traded for, I think, Vlade Divac to the Lakers. Chip on his shoulder. Kobe didn't come out his rookie year and ball out. He wasn't even an all-star, I don't think.
Is that showing first year, Rob? How many points per game is it? 7.6? Is that minutes? That's minutes. The first one is minutes, second one is,
But LeBron...
So you see, 7.2. I said 7.2, 7.6. Second year average 15. Then he went to 19.9, then 22, and then boom.
This is Kobe?
From 2001, 28 points a game, 25.
LeBron is
now we're in the championship lane there, 2000, 2001, 2000.
LeBron is the only person that we've seen literally say, high school to NBA, I'm going to be the GOAT, turned out to be that dude, and delivered. So I can understand why he has such an inflated ego. Now that hasn't worked out well for the league because their ratings have tanked.
He's not
I know that you've gone back and forth.
And you know why? And you know why he's the most unattractive? Well, besides, it's really funny if you guys look at Bob. You don't have to look it up, but it's funny. He tries to act like he's somebody that he's not. The fact that every time he has a book in his hand, like he's reading it, it's always on the first page. The guy is not, and I'm not. It is what it is. I mean, he left high school and went there. I don't know how freaking. He's not articulate, like you said, Adam. His vernacular isn't so freaking great. But you know what? Let's just look at how unattractive as a
page 4.
It might be page 4 with a towel. He's reading the towel. But anyway, and it comes to unattractativeness. He lost it, and it all started shifting, and then the league suffered for it because think about it. Remember when he slammed that cop and tweeted, "You're next" for Officer Nicholas Reardon after he shot the Ma'Khia Bryant from stopping her from stabbing another girl. He was like, "You're next" to the cop. Okay, he mocked Kyle Rittenhouse for crying on the stand. He stayed silent on China, the human rights thing when he attacked Daryl Morey. Remember that for supporting Hong Kong. Yeah. All this to protect his Nike and his NBA money. And he talks about being oppressed, but he lives like a freaking king, literally. And he backs all the woke policies and against conservative values. That's why he's an unattractive guy, unattractive player, in my point of view, not a good dude. And then, when Stephen A is just speaking facts and you let it hurt your feelings, and then you try to embarrass him in front of everybody, no, that's my problem. You know you're not going to do anything to him. You know you weren't going to hit him, and you know he wasn't going to hit you. That's the problem. You were just trying to embarrass him and look tough. You ain't going to do nothing, bro. Even on the show, you're going to fight him in the street. Give me a break, bro. If you were really about that life, you would have walked right up to him and punched him in the face right there.
That's not professional. He's
Adam,
a professional.
Adam.
He's a professional.
That's not professional. Going up to Stephen A. and then going like, oh, Stephen A. Hold on. And then saying Stephen A. was happy he's going to go celebrate that I'm talking about him. No, you're the cause for it. You're sensitive, and you're talking to another level. And Stephen A. matched you at it. Who's winning in this whole thing?
I actually give him respect for going up and talking to the source. If he would have tweeted it, like most people would do these days, all the tough guys with the Twitter fingers, he went up and said, listen, I have a problem with what you did. Here's the deal. I'm not going to punch you in the face. I have a game to play, but I have an issue with it. That's what a man does.
On the third quarter of a game in the middle of everything.
It's called the third quarter. It's because it's halftime. No, third quarter's about to start.
But you know what you do? You're in the show business. He could have got his phone number and said, yo, dog, as a man, you don't go and do that in public because you ain't going to do shit.
There's nothing to do. He's talking to him like a man.
Adam, I'm about that life, bro. If I have a real problem with you about my son and I'm mad, I'm not going to go up to him like, me, and
what are you
walk
gonna
away.
tweet him? What are you
text
gonna do?
him. No. Get his,
you
don't think he get his number?
Real tough. You're a tough texter, Vinny.
No, what I'm saying is if you're going to go up to somebody like that, Adam, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? That's where I'm from.
I'm going to text you right now.
Sorry, bro. Sorry.
I'm going to text you right now, Vinny.
Anyway.
Tom, are you about that life?
Tom, I want to ask you one question. I'm happy Pat brought up. Tom, are you about that life?
I don't know, but when me and my homies were talking about this
talking about his homies. Hold on. Yeah.
Me and my homies were talking about this situation, and we weren't down with the flop at all.
Yeah.
No, I got two things to say. And the first thing I'm going to say, one man was doing his job.
7,000 people voted, Rob.
Yeah.
Our audience just voted. 7,000 people voted on who's the greatest NBA player of all time. Jordan, LeBron, Kobe. Jordan got 80 votes. Kobe got 10. LeBron got 5%.
80%,
wow.
you mean?
Let me tell you guys.
80%.
Okay. I don't care if you guys ever get anything wrong on politics or anything else. We can fight. You can manipulate. You can talk shit. You can say whatever you want with Trump and all this other stuff. I love you guys.
Yes.
To everybody that voted here, you're my type of people. Come to the cigar lounge. Be a member so we can have these types of talks.
Vinny, I just tough text you right now.
Guys,
hang on.
Go ahead.
I challenge you, bro.
I was quiet for a second. No.
Adam got to text me and he said, I want to kiss
Vinny,
you.
Tom is giving an update on his homies. Go ahead. He's about that life.
We're going to go to another story.
Go ahead, homie.
There's two things in my mind that are very, very clear.
Yeah.
One is I thought Stephen A. Smith was doing his job and doing it very professionally, and the reaction he had, I do not think was acting. I happen to believe, my opinion, that what I saw there, LeBron knew the cameras were rolling.
That's what I'm saying.
LeBron knew what was going on.
Yeah.
I think he took it personal. It wasn't about defending his son. I think he took it personal. He was upset, and I think he walked in front of Stephen A. there on the court to do the equivalent of take a flop for the cameras. That's what I think. And I think Stephen A. was just doing his job, and I think he was very articulate. And I applaud Stephen A. for stepping up and saying, listen, I don't think it's about your home. I think it's about what we're doing here at Crypto.com Arena. That's what I was speaking about. We're not speaking about this. Don't try to make it what
Tom,
it's not.
All you had to do was say, I'm about that.
Tom,
that's true.
Tom, that's your body. You're almost making Rob cry.
Tom, I know
7,100 people voted.
Listen.
Michael, 80%.
Wow. Michael
Kobe,
Jordan.
10. LeBron, 5.
Tom,
you know,
the greatest flopper of all time.
I think that issue,
greatest flopper.
when he said, I wear 23, I wear it to honor Jordan, I think he thinks he's the one, and it bothers him.
Tom, you know what? I got to tell people, you know what Tom and I do on the weekends? Rolling down the street,
smoking endo, sipping on gin and juice.
Sipping on gin and juice. With what, Tom? With my mind on my money and my money on my mind.
Yeah, that's
every time, Tom.
By the way,
every single time.
Yesterday, it's we're on the flight. We're trying to sleep. There is so much turbulence. It's mathematically impossible.
Yeah.
But this lady, Mateo, ordered enough food for a party of 40.
Oh my God!
They keep bringing food, and then they bring this salad to Tom. Tom is panicking.
We're all done.
Tom
We're
is
done.
like, what is this? So no, this is your salad.
Was it chopped salad?
This is after the steak. This is after the cheese board. After 20 minutes of good conversation,
fruit,
and all of a sudden, here comes a Cobb salad that's the size of Rhode Island.
You guys have to see this. You know what? I want to put this in. Should I put behind the scenes? I'll just send it to you guys.
Yeah.
Rob, can you play this?
Hey, if you're in our circle, you get to see this.
Yeah, Rob. Well, on the circle, there's a lot of cool debates going on in the circle right now, which is great.
Right.
The PBD podcast circle. But Rob, play this clip.
This is
the salad being arrived to Tom. On the flight back, by the way, it was, I think, turbulent straight 3 hours.
The whole time, I didn't sleep at all.
You hear that beeping sound? Beep, beep,
which is weird on an airplane.
Beep.
Yeah. Well, Pat,
Do you have it, Rob, or no?
While he's
Yes,
doing
give
it,
me one second.
while he's doing it, wouldn't it have been funny though if in that LeBron Stephen A. Smith interaction, if LeBron went, "Hey man, just chill," and LeBron, like, if he flopped at that moment, I would have pissed in my pants.
That would.
Because I wouldn't put it past him.
I think it was a metaphorical flop.
Look at this,
Watch
Tom.
this.
Tom.
For the
Oh,
cameras.
we just ate for an hour, and then he just gets this out. Look at Tom's face. Oh,
Do
it's
you have
speed.
audio or no?
It's on 2-speed, Robin. The audio's. Yeah, there you go.
Go back a little bit.
So Tom, you're.
What is that?
That is a Cobb salad that Tom ordered. Tom, you're gonna finish that? I mean, look at the plate. The church.
That was a little side salad.
Tom, that is not a side salad. That is a house. With little baby pickles and Mario.
How would you order that, Tom?
And you're full?
Did you order that?
No, I thought I was getting a little panini sandwich and a salad.
Oh no, it's over.
Salad.
A panini.
Well, enjoy, buddy. We're watching you. Go for it.
He didn't touch it.
He didn't touch
one cucumber, not one
nothing.
tomato, nothing.
Oh man.
He didn't touch it. But anyways, all right, gang.
No, she took it and put it in the fridge. I just.
And then she threw it away because nobody ate it. It's over.
Gang.
She made it.
What is today? Today's what? Today's,
Thursday, Pat.
Today's
Thursday the 27th.
Today's Thursday. Anyways, Rob, what do we got going on this week? We got nothing else going on this week.
No,
right?
Monday we'll have an interview coming out. Stay tuned for more.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah.
Are you gonna tell me later?
Hey,
Maybe-
get in the podcast
Yes.
circles to be the first to know of whatever it is.
That's right. If you're in the circle, you already know who's coming on next for the podcast. Go to Circle, go to Connect, download the app, join the circle. Future looks bright, buddy. Take care, guys. God bless. Bye-bye, bye-bye.